Dear Scousers, I don't like the word hate, but it's fair to say there's no love lost between us. As a lifelong United fan, I realised that this game would be nothing without the two of us. Truth is, no greater love exists between two rivals. We need each other. So, before we play again, I'll leave you with this. The only thing I can't stand more than you is the game without you. See you on Sunday. Love, Fred. Boss a bet, Fred.
18 plus gambleaware.org.
A Rayo original podcast.
I'm Katherine Ryan, back for season 2 of my podcast, What's My Age Again?
Are you ready? I'm ready.
Join my celebrity guests as they take the test to find out the difference between their biological and chronological ages.
No way!
With guests including G.K. Barry, Jamila Jamil, Natalie Cassidy, Alan Davis, Tim Spector, and Sarah Pascoe. What's My Age Again? Find it on the Rayo app, Apple, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, with bonus episodes every week.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Still no permanent Rangers manager as Stevie Smith oversees things against Dundee United at Ibrox today. Motherwell take on Falkirk, Aberdeen go to St Mirren and Hibs host Livingston. Then Hearts have the chance to extend their lead at the top of the table later against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. That's all before Celtic go to Dundee tomorrow. I'm Andrew Maclean. Joining me in the studio are Gordon Dalziel, Simon Donnelly and Hugh Keevins.
Russell Martin has gone. 3 questions remain. Number 1. Was Russell Martin a bad coach who mishandled good players? Was Russell Martin a good coach lumbered with bad players? Or was Russell Martin a bad coach with bad players who will now become a problem for Kevin Muscat when he gets here? Whichever one it is, Stevie Smith has to deal with it this afternoon when Dundee United go to Ibrox, and the crowd there will be in an unforgiving mood. This season has driven the Rangers fans to despair, and they can't take much more. Meanwhile, the Hearts fans can't get enough of this season. They are 11 points ahead of Rangers. They can go 5 ahead of Celtic if they win at Kilmarnock, and they're taking 4,000 fans with them to Ayrshire. Big day, big questions, Daz.
Yeah, it's always an interesting weekend, and I think all eyes, quite rightly so, will be focused on Ibrox. Rangers taking on Dundee United. Steve Smith in the dugout, interim charge there. So a big game. They can't afford to lose this game. It's as simple as that. You look at the fixtures. I know Hearts have got a difficult one against an informed Kilmarnock. You expect Celtic to take care of Dundee tomorrow at Dens. So a big afternoon, but some great fixtures there. Fir Park, what a game that'll be. 2 teams that are footballing teams. They'll play football all day long. Plenty of goals there. Hibs, Livingston, and I'm looking forward to St Mirren, Aberdeen. I think that'll be a cracker as well.
Yeah, just on the back of 6 points out of 6 for Scotland. We're back to domestic duties this afternoon, which I much prefer. Getting back into the bread and butter of it. I'm not sure how to answer Hugh Keevins there. It's maybe a combination of all 3 suggestions there regarding Russell Martin and the Rangers players. But there will be no forgiving at Ibrox this afternoon. As Dazzler says, they're 11 points behind the top of the table. It's nowhere near acceptable, so it doesn't matter who's in charge. They need a win, and their fans will be expecting it.
Yeah, we may find out some of the answers to some of the questions that Hugh posed throughout the afternoon. I think another big question is about team news today, especially from Ibrox. What is Stevie Smith going to do as interim boss going into this match? Rangers against Dundee United. Fraser Wishart can give us that information.
Yeah, I think Hugh hit the nail on the head. I think the crowd mood will be very important. It's all quiet here just now at Ibrox, but come 3 o'clock or 3:30, half hour into the game, then it'll be interesting to see the reaction of the football supporters here at Ibrox. And because international breaks are usually calm, it's about having a break, getting fitness into players that need it, and hoping international players come back fit. But for Rangers, of course, it's been anything but calm from supporters blocking the bus to Russell Martin having to leave by the back entrance, losing his job to the very public search for the new manager. And 2 weeks later, we end up with Stephen Smith in temporary charge and Kevin Muscat seemingly still not confirmed the new manager in waiting. And amongst all that noise, it's easy to forget that this is actually an important football match for everyone. The focus has been everything off the pitch, but Rangers of course now have to win football games to get themselves up the table. And then little in the last 2 weeks about the draw with Falkirk, and they've only won 1 in 7 this season in league, and of course only 6 goals, all of which tell a story. So for Stephen Smith, he just tried to get the players to focus solely on the game and get their season going. And for Stephen as well, it's a no-lose situation, because he comes in and he does really well. He knows he's not going to get the job, but he might get a job in the first team coaching staff as well. So give it a go, I think, is the message from the Rangers supporters I spoke to outside. It'll be interesting to see how he approaches it, because apart from the long-term injuries, only Mo Diamande is missing, so there's plenty of options. Leo Cameron's back on the bench after being injured, and one thing the team have to do, in my opinion, is play at a higher tempo and get the fans behind them, excite the fans, because that hasn't happened this season. But it won't be easy. Of course, Jim Goodwin will be wanting to do the opposite. He wants to get the Rangers fans on the players' back, and who are actually only a point ahead of Rangers Dundee United, but they're players like Dalziel, Sapsford, Moller, who can cause problems. And United have scored 12 goals in 7 games, so that's not a problem for them. The problem's at the other end, where Rangers have to take advantage of that, because they conceded 11. So Rangers want to start on the front foot from the beginning of the game. They'll have to be very wary of the United front men, because they do pose a danger, and Rangers have been fragile at the back this season. So for many reasons, as we've touched on and we'll speak about during the first hour of the show, I'm sure it's a fascinating 98 minutes ahead on and off the pitch, and I think there'll be a few goals. And as you said, Andrew, interesting team news. It's 3 changes made by Stephen Smith for his first Rangers team out for the game against Falkirk. Out go Giga, Barron and Moore onto the bench. In come Mekoma, Asgard and Antman. So usual 4-3-3 formation. Jack Butland's in goals, James Tavernier, John Suter, Derek Cornelius and Jayden Mekoma at the back. In midfield, Nico Raskan, Joe Rothwell and Telo Asgard, with Oliver Antman and Jada Gassama on the wings, and Bojan Majovski as the lone striker. The subs: Liam Kelly, Max Aarons, Connor Barron, Youssef Chermiti, Nedim Bajrami, Lyle Cameron, Nasser Giga, Finlay Curtis and Mikey Moore. Also 3 changes for Dundee United. Out go Yori Ivu, Panadji Kamara and Nikolai Moller, and in come Craig Sibbald, Julian Eskinen and Amar Fatah. They go with a 4-3-3 formation change that's usually been 3-4-3 this year. Yevgeny Kurcharenko in goals, Luca Stevenson, Bert Esselink, Christian Kerestes and Will Ferry at the back. In midfield, Vico Savelj, Craig Sibbald and Julius Eskinen, with Ivan Dolcek and Amar Fatah on the wings, and Zach Sapford as the striker. Dave Richards, Yoro Uvu, Sam Cleel Harding, Owen Sturton, Nikolai Moller, Dario Namo, Panucci Kamara, Ryan Strain and Christian Trapanovsky are the United subs. The referee is Don Robertson, and the VAR today at Ibrox is Andrew Dallas.
Yeah, Stevie Smith only has a select group of players that he can choose from.
Yeah.
Hugh, people might have been, might take something away from his team selection. It looks like a team that Russell Martin may well have picked, but the personnel really doesn't matter as much as how the players perform today.
Well, the whipping boy has gone. It's up to the players now to take responsibility, because there is a limit to the blame you can apportion towards Stevie Smith if anything should go wrong. He didn't even expect to be there today on the touchline. As I say, the whipping boy has gone. The ones who really matter today are the players, because that's a strong Rangers team. That's a team that should win the match. If they don't, then we're back to questions being asked, not about the whipping boy because he's away, but about the suitability of the players brought in by the whipping boy.
I know what you're saying, Hugh. On paper, I'm looking at that team. I don't know if it's a strong Rangers team, because that team's played before. Many of the players play week in, week out, and the performances have been poor. But I agree with you in one thing, 100%. This is all about the players today. All eyes will be focused on them. Never mind the dugout. Forget that. Russell Martin's gone. Stephen Smith's there, just taking charge, interim charge, keeping everything ticking along. All eyes will be on these players today. They will have to stand up and be counted, because if they don't, then you've got to start asking questions about this.
How much onus is on the players today to go out there and put in a performance? Because you'd expect the crowd will feel lighter today. There has been so much animosity around Ibrox, outside Ibrox at times, with the protests going on. Do you think the initial feeling around Ibrox will be lighter, just given the fact that Russell Martin, who was the man Rangers fans wanted to go, is gone, but it can all change quickly again if the performance maybe isn't at the level that the fans are hoping or expecting.
Andrew, it'll be later for moments. If Rangers don't get into the game and score and get ahead and play well, that lighter moment will go. Regardless, as I said a couple of minutes ago, who's in charge. I'm looking at the team there. There's 7 players, I think, that Russell Martin brought in this team. It's all about players. And he suggested before his tenure was brought to a halt about he questioned the mentality of these players. And at times when you're in the heat of a stadium like Ibrox, where you have to produce week in, week out, listen, the onus is all on the players today. As Daz said at the start of the show, it's a massive game, regardless of, they're waiting on the manager coming in. They are miles behind in this league already in early infancy, so they have to win the game.
Simon, we're talking about an England international in goal.
Yeah.
We're talking about Scotland international in central defence.
Yes.
We're talking about a captain who's been at Rangers for 10 years. We're talking about someone who plays beside Kevin De Bruyne in Belgium's midfield.
Yeah.
A core of players who ought to be able to show that they are better than has so far been displayed.
All that, and we haven't even mentioned the name Kevin Muscat yet.
Yeah.
He's still not in the door. When will he be in the door? Is it going to happen this weekend? Is it going to happen at all? Rangers fans are going to continue to ask these questions until there is a permanent manager in the door, because it's almost 2 weeks since Russell Martin was sacked.
For me, it's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. I think they put all their eggs in one basket. They thought that Steven Gerrard would be the manager in the dugout today. Everything would be rosy against Dundee United. Fans coming along excited. And I thought the fans were the same. Big majority of them wanted him back. He was a fan's favourite. It didn't happen. We've now got a situation that the under-19 coach is now taking charge of the team. As Simon said, it's a must-win game. They can't afford to drop any more points. I would probably say league's gone right away from them. They've got a manager we don't know when's coming in the building. For me, it's been an absolute shambles.
In the short term, Andrew, it must be about finance. He has a year left on his contract with Shanghai Port, and compensation has to be agreed. Now, the Chinese club will drive a hard bargain because they know that Rangers' need is great. Therefore, if you're a negotiator, you're saying, fine, all the cards lie with us. In the longer term, once compensation, or if compensation is agreed, then you have to put up with the complexity of the situation, which is he cannot leave Shanghai until the outcome of the league title has been decided. Brandbergen, midweek for Rangers in the Europa League. If the deal has been done to bring Kevin Muscat to Ibrox, I would suspect that Neil McCann would take the team to Bergen. But for the moment, it's about finance and the driving of a hard bargain.
Well, that is the picture from Ibrox. We will give that game a bit more build-up a bit later on. Let's go to Fir Park, shall we? Motherwell against Falkirk with David Friel.
Yeah, Andrew, and as Daz was saying, I'm expecting total football here today. Fir Park pitch like a bowling green as always, and we're going to see two good sides who love to get it down and pass it. Motherwell getting rave reviews under Jens Bertel Askew, but Falkirk under John McGlynn also have a really attractive brand of football. This one should be a cracker. It's actually been 15 years since Motherwell and Falkirk played each other. Incredible that. Falkirk won 1-0 here in 2010, and hopefully this one lives up to expectations. Motherwell sitting 6th in the Premiership before kick-off today. They've been really impressive in recent weeks. However, the Motherwell manager Askew was talking this week, he wants to start turning these performances into wins. He spoke about the need to be more clinical at both ends. Obviously earned so many plaudits for the way it played at Celtic Park a fortnight ago, but ultimately they lost the game 3-2, and I think he just wants them to brush up at both ends of the pitch. And without being disrespectful to Falkirk, who I'm a big admirer of, I think if Motherwell are going to finish in the top 6 this season, these are the games they really need to win. However, they're going to have to do it without the informed Apostolos Stamatolopoulos, who's only fit enough to make the bench. More positive news is that Callum Hendry comes back from injury himself and makes his first start in attack. As I said, Falkirk full of confidence after a 1-1 draw against Rangers last time out. John McGlynn's side unlucky not to win that game and will come here to have a go, as they always do, with a really attacking lineup. Falkirk boss was actually questioned on his touchline dress sense this week. Touch of Russell Martin there after being in his club tracksuit for the last couple of games. He's gone smart casual instead, but his side also have that style about them, and they'll be out to show that today. Motherwell made 3 changes from the Celtic game. Hendry is joined in the team by Stephen Welsh and Elijah Just. Stamatopoulos, Regan Charles-Cook and Liam Gordon drop out, so it's going to be Callum Ward in goals. He keeps his place despite that mistake against Celtic. Johnny Katrumbas, Paul McGinn, Stephen Welsh and Emmanuel Longello at the back. Elliot Watt and Lucas Verdinga will hold the midfield, with Tawanda Maswanisi, Ibrahim Said and Elijah Just in behind Callum Hendry. Subs on Motherwell are Oxborough, O'Donnell, Gordon, Osong, Sparrow, Halliday, Priestman and Stamatopoulos. As for Falkirk, just one change. Leon McCann drops out at left back, Sam Hart comes in, so it's Scott Bain in goals, Caelan Adams, Lewis Nielsen, Liam Henderson and Sam Hart, Brad Spencer, Dylan Tate, Ethan Williams, Kyrell Wilson, Calvin Miller and Ross McKeever. Subs for Falkirk are Hogarth, Graham, Aggieman, Cartwright, Oliver, Allen, Lisa, Arfield and Samuel Ogunsui. Referee is Stephen McLean and the VAR is Callum Scott.
Another big game at Easter Road, Hibs against Livingston. Roger Hanna has the teams there.
Yeah, it's a big game actually for them, Andrew. I was surprised to see both these sides. I sort of thought they'd made reasonable starts to the season. You look at the Premiership table, they're actually both in the bottom 6. Hibs, they started so brightly, some of those European results, but they are 6 without a win. They've had draws against St Mirren, Dundee United, Falkirk and Celtic, and they've lost those high-profile games at Rangers and at Hearts. They've only had one win in 11, and that was against Livy, the Premier Sports Cup over at Livingston in August. That last gasp Edinburgh Derby defeat a couple of weeks ago, it saw them slip below Motherwell in goal difference into 7th place. They're still 2 points in 2 places better off than Livy. You know, I had the impression Davy Martindale's side started well going back into top flight. I saw them beat Falkirk at home early in the season, but they've taken just 2 points from the last 18 available, and that slump really was kick-started when they lost in the Cup to Hibs a couple of months ago. Maybe confidence took a wee boost where reserve pointed in Dundee United last time out, but they won here as well in a relegation season 3-2, but I wonder if this is a big ask for Livingston this afternoon. I'll give you the sides. Hibs have got Raphael Salinger in goals, a back 3, Warren O'Hara, Grant Hanley and Jack Iredale. Across the middle it's Chris Cadden, Josh Mulligan, Daniel Burlasser and Nicky Cadden, and then Jamie McGrath will be just behind Kieran Bowie, and the £1 million man Thibault Clegia gets a long awaited start. On the bench it's Smith, Levitt and Yuan, Boyle, Chewa and Obita, Hoylett, Campbell and Bushiri. Livingston, they've got Shane Blaney back at the back, and Jeremy Bakila will lead the line today. They're also boosted by Christian Montano's return to the bench after injury. So it's Jerome Prior in goal, the back 4, Daniel Finlayson, Shane Blaney, Danny Wilson and Adam Montgomery. In midfield, Scott Pittman, Mo Silla, who's back to his normal position, and Mamadou Sissoko, and then Conor McLennan and Stevie May will be asked to support Jeremy Bakila. On the bench it's Hamilton, Muirhead and Carey, Winter, Shinnie and Tate, Yenge, Montano and Lawal. The referee is Ryan Lee, the VAR is Grant Irvin, and we're looking forward to it, Andrew.
Yeah, one more Premiership game at 3 o'clock. Unfortunately, due to a late failed fitness test, we don't have anyone out there, but I can give you the team news for that one. St Mirren against Aberdeen should be a good game, that one as well. Looking forward to it. It is going to be Shamal George in goal for the home side. The back 3, Marcus Fraser, Alex Gogic and Miguel Freckleton. It will be Jayden Richardson and Declan John as the wing backs, Keanu Bacchus, Mark O'Hara and Killian Phillips in the centre of midfield, Dan Lundulu and Mikael Mandron leading the line for the home side. For Aberdeen, Dimitar Mitov continues in goal. They go for a back 5 as well. Mats Knuster, Jack Milne and Gav Malloy are the 3 central midfielders. Nicky Devlin and Alex Jensen are the 2 wing backs for them. The 2 deeper midfielders, Graham Shinnie and Stuart Armstrong. It'll then be Ado Alshish and Jesper Karlsson in behind Kevin Nisbet. It is an interesting game this for Aberdeen, because so much talk about their struggles at the start of the season, so much pressure on Jimmy Talleen as well. It certainly looks in the last couple of games that Aberdeen may have turned that corner. A strong performance against a good Shakhtar Donetsk side in the Conference League, followed up by a big 4-0 win against Dundee. Aberdeen fans will now be wondering whether they can continue that on into today's game.
I think it'll be a good game. It'll be an interesting game, because I think the two teams are looking to bounce, well, not bounce back. Aberdeen got a good result against Dundee United and got their season moving. St Mirren, very disappointing down at Rugby Park, but you've got to say Kilmarnock were excellent on the day, so they'll be looking to bounce back. Two teams, I think they'll go at it for the 3 points, Andrew, this afternoon. It's a very difficult one to call, Hugh.
For as long as Aberdeen are at the bottom of the Premiership table, it is a source of profound embarrassment for everyone associated with the club. I couldn't believe during the week that Jimmy Talleen was being mentioned in connection with the Swedish national team job. You don't have to do very much to get that job, apparently. but it's a source of embarrassment, and if they're still there at 5 o'clock tonight, I shudder to think.
Well, that is the picture from the games that are happening in the Premiership at 3 o'clock. Of course, there is a big late kick-off this evening that we'll look ahead to. Kilmarnock against Hearts at 5:45. Then the Premiership action finishes off with Dundee against Celtic at lunchtime tomorrow. In the next part of the show, we'll bring all the guys in and look back on the biggest talking points of the week.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitz Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Hey business owners, the digital switchover is coming, and it's not just for business landlines. CCTV, payment systems and alarms could be affected. We urge you to switch to digital with BT by December 2025. You'll also benefit from faster connections, greater security and cost savings sooner. We'll help make the switch as smooth as possible so you can spend more time doing what you do best, running your business. Start your switch to digital with BT today. BT Business is urging customers to migrate off the old PSTN by the end of 2025. The final closure date for PSTN is 31st of Jan 2027.
Save £788 on the Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE. Talk with Gemini about anything you see.
Anything?
Just point your camera and ask.
Can it tell me what to wear with my new trainers?
Like your very own stylist.
And recipe ideas?
Just show it your fridge. Plus, you get stay-connected data because powerful AI deserves the UK's best network. Offer ends 4th of December.
Savings across contract and device. Terms and credit check apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
Dear Scousers, I don't like the word hate, but it's fair to say there's no love lost between us. As a lifelong United fan, I realised that this game would be nothing without the two of us. Truth is, no greater love exists between two rivals. We need each other. So, before we play again, I'll lead you with this. The only thing I can't stand more than you is the game without you. See you on Sunday. Love, Fred. Boss a bet, Fred.
18 plus gambleaware.org.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Building up to kick-off in today's big matches across Scotland. Your 3 o'clock offering in the Premiership today is Rangers against Dundee United at Ibrox, Motherwell against Falkirk at Fir Park, Hibs against Livingston at Easter Road, then at the Smythe Stadium it's St Mirren against Aberdeen, then a chance for Hearts to extend their lead at the top of the table when they go to Rugby Park at 5:45, and of course it's Dundee against Celtic tomorrow at midday. But this is the part of the show where we bring in all the guys and have a look back on the week's biggest talking points. I think really it's the last 2 weeks' biggest talking points because it has gone on for a fortnight. Hugh Keevins, you were saying there during the break that this time last Saturday it was all systems go on Steven Gerrard. The picture has changed massively from 2 weekends ago to last weekend, and now once again to this weekend.
Well, David Friel and Roger Hanna will know the feeling exactly. Sitting there at 8:30 at a 50th birthday party when the Nokia pinged and the message was, call the office urgently, and Steven Gerrard had not backed Rangers, and there began the problems. 49 of the enterprises since assuming control of Rangers have made one bad call after another, and I do not understand why Steven Gerrard arrived from Bahrain, entered into talks with 49ers Enterprises, and it all collapsed so quickly. Only Steven Gerrard or Andrew Kavanagh can tell us why that was the case. And then, of course, Danny Roll, the following day, announces that he has no more interest in the job. Which brings us to Kevin Muscat and where we are. Kevin Muscat has to agree a deal with Rangers, and Rangers must agree a deal with Shanghai Port. Otherwise, Rangers are in deep crisis.
Yeah, it looks to be all systems go on Kevin Muscat. Roger Hanna, what is the latest from your perspective on that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the deal will be done. I don't think money will be an issue either for Muscat or dealing with Shanghai Port. The real issue is the timing of it. He's got 3 games left in the league, Andrew. Shanghai Port are 2 points clear at the top of the Chinese Super League. They're defending their title. Muscat won a double in his first season in Chinese football last season. He wants to do things right by Shanghai Port. They won their game 4-3 yesterday. They play midweek, they play at the weekend, and then unfortunately for Rangers, there's a break for the Asian Champions League, and it means the last league game for Shanghai Port is not until November the 22nd. It's not ideal. I think Rangers people will tell you it's not ideal, but this is what happens when you make a mistake and you appoint the wrong manager in June. If they had gone to Muscat in the summer, it wouldn't have been an issue. Now it becomes an issue, and whether it's Stevie Smith or somebody else, I think Rangers might need to limp through for a few games with an interim manager to get the manager they want. I think the 49ers are reasonably comfortable with the situation. They will tell you they want Kevin Muscat for 4 years, not the next 4 weeks. So if they need to wait to get the right guy in, they're willing to wait, and they need to get the right guy in, because it's been farcical for 4 years, Andrew. 2021 October, Steven Gerrard goes. 2022, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst goes. 2023, Michael Beale goes. 2024 or early 25, Philippe Clement goes. Late 25, Russell Martin goes. You cannot keep turning over managers at that rate, or you become a laughing stock. Rangers need to get Kevin Muscat in the door. If they need to wait for him, they're happy to do so, and he's got a big job in his hands.
Yeah, David Frail, how awkward could that period of limbo be? Because Rangers have several games in that time, and several big games in that time as well. Yeah,
Andrew, for me it's so awkward that I would be pushing to get this done as quickly as possible. With all due respect to Shanghai Port and the Chinese Super League and everything, if it's me, I would be, and you're paying big money for Kevin Muscat compensation wise and wages wise, I don't think Rangers can afford to wait, to be perfectly honest with you, because they've got so many games in the next 4 weeks. But then if Kevin Muscat is parachuted in here in sort of kind of late November, Rangers then go into this festive period where you've got, I think, 12 or 13 games in about 44 days. So how is, he's just going to be swamped by fixtures. So I would be doing everything I possibly could, and I get it that the Chinese side don't want to lose him, but I would be doing everything I possibly can to get him in quicker, because I don't think Rangers can afford to wait. Otherwise they're in danger of just writing off another season here.
Is that the big element of risk, Fraser Wishart? Because if Kevin Muscat comes in tomorrow, then yes, he will be on the back foot because of what had happened under Russell Martin earlier on in the season. There is a risk that he comes in 5 weeks down the line and the season is even further away from Rangers than it already is.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with what Roger was saying earlier about if he's going to be your man, you might have to wait. And I don't think the compensation's anything that needs to be negotiated. Usually, and I'm not sure of Kevin Muscat's contract, of course, but usually managers' contracts, when you see them signing a 4-year contract, there's a termination clause in that for both parties, and that might be a fixed fee, it might be 6 months' wages. The fee's there for all to see, so it's not really a negotiation. It seems to me, just reading between the lines, that Kevin Muscat is wanting to stay and help the team to the title, and I think that's great. We've had two managers leave here, you know, Rangers and Celtic, and they've been called rats and all sorts because they leave in February or leave during the season, you know. So we can't have it both ways. So if he's the man, in normal circumstances, when I employ somebody for PFA Scotland or anywhere else, there's a notice period, so you have to wait. It's not ideal, and you're right in the fact that I think the league's going anyway, but they could actually lose against Celtic. Now, if Kevin Muscat is going to bring in, say, Neil McCann, as has been rumoured, then Neil McCann needs to take charge for the next wee while, and that's a big step forward because he is part of the long-term strategy, and he'll be able to speak to Kevin Muscat on a daily basis. So it is what it is. I don't think it can be hurried along if Kevin Muscat wants to stay, and you have to admire that, a bit of loyalty, which people are always slagging football managers and players for not having loyalty as well. So It is a difficult situation, but if he's the man, commit to it and then go from there and get his coaching staff in, or as many of his coaching staff in, right now before he arrives, so there's a bit of continuity there.
When it comes to the perception of when Kevin Muscat decides to make the move, Gordon, what side are you on? Because Fraser presents that point there that it can be seen as great commitment towards Shanghai Port if the shoe was in the other foot and Rangers had a manager that walked out with 3 games to go in a league season. The reaction, you can imagine what the reaction would be like. But from the other side of it, Rangers fans, some might say, well, if he's really wants to be committed to Rangers, then he should be on the door at Ibrox immediately.
Yeah, I hear what the boys are saying, Fraser and Roger, but it's the nature of the beast, football. It's as simple as that. He knows he's coming to Rangers. Look, everybody's saying, oh, well, you have to wait for the right man. He's never been number 1 pick. So it wasn't like he was the guy from the beginning that they wanted in to change his football club. If it wasn't for the fact that Steven Gerrard knocked it back, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. So I'm with David Friel. I think you've got to go and say, force a hand a little bit and say, hold on a minute, yeah, we admire all the loyalty, we admire what you're trying to do, but we're a club. This season could be away from Rangers before he walks in the door.
It's not just loyalty. He'd be a man utterly bereft of principle if he left Shanghai Port before the league title had been decided. And he clearly doesn't want to do that. I mean, Rangers fell for it before, when they had a manager in place in Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, and Michael Beale suddenly appeared in the pub around the corner, and then appeared in the director's box, making it abundantly clear, while Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was in post, that he wanted his job, and Rangers fell for it. And look how that went for them. So, for me, it's not loyalty, it's principle. He has to stay at Shanghai Port until the league title is decided, and then, as Roger Hanna rightly points out, it's not about the next 4 weeks, it's about the next 4 years. And Roger has detailed the last 4 years of managerial sackings. So, it's unfortunate for Rangers. Yes, further damage may be done, but it's a complex situation, and if Kevin Muscat were to walk out on Shanghai Port, well, first of all, he can expect to be sued by the club because he still has another season left on his contract, and he would be shown to be a man bereft of principle.
But do you think it's all about, then I hear this, the next 4 years? Managers don't get 4 years. Russell Martin was all about the next 4 years. He didn't even last October, the end of October. Listen, managers come in and they get their contract, and Fraser's right, there'll be a clause in there where it be 6 months, a year's salary, whatever it may be. But it's not about, well, we can wait for 4 weeks because it's about 4 years. If Muscat comes into a building and doesn't produce a good, he's not getting 4 years. Let's not be kidding.
But in the meantime, you're suggesting he should simply walk out on Shanghai Port?
No, I think Rangers should be pushing a little bit quicker to get him out of the building. Yes.
How can he leave before the title's been decided?
It doesn't, but listen, he's got to be the Rangers manager. Rangers are only concentrating themselves just now. I know what you're saying, I know the loyalty, I understand all that.
See if I was reporting Neil McCann is part of this staff moving forward. Why is he not there today?
Because the deal's not been done yet. You know, once it is established,
he'll take over.
I would imagine he would come in on Monday.
It seems to be the suggestion anyway. If that is to happen, if there is this interim period, if Neil McCann, there is a lot of ifs in here, if Neil McCann is to be part of that staff, how important do you think it is having someone that's eventually going to be on Kevin Muscat's staff overseeing things for the next few weeks?
Yeah, hugely, because moving forward, I mean, Kevin Muscat will have done his homework. If he's coming in, he'll know to a degree about the squad. But I think if he's moving, he needs to have something there before he gets there, 100%. Rangers have been left in an awkward position here because, as Daz said, I think they thought Gerrard was coming back. We all did. I mean, when Gerrard flies back to London or wherever he met Rangers last week, I just took it. That was, if he wanted the job. Obviously, talks have broke down and they've been left in an awkward place. Andrew, they've got a semi-final with Celtic a couple of weeks away and they've got nobody in control here at the moment. They've got Stevie Smith under 19. He's been left to deal with stuff. I think he's taking training this week. It's an awkward situation for them. And the guy that they want, as Hugh quite rightly says, 3 games from a title. I wouldn't expect him. I mean, me and Jackie get stick when we left Partick Thistle with 6 months of the season to go. It's 3 games to go. So I think he'd be within his rights to see that out but it's far from ideal from the Rangers side of it.
There have been questions over the start to this new regime at Rangers, Roger Hannah, anyway, just given the appointment of Russell Martin, given the appointment of Kevin Thelwell, given the recruitment in the summer, is how the last 2 weeks have been handled, or how they are perceived to have been handled. Is that not helped the cause either?
I'm not sure, Andrew. Listen, it's difficult sometimes to get a new manager. Steven Gerrard talks. That worked for a lot of people. I think about $1 million in Rio Ferdinand's podcast. It got Steven Gerrard onto the back page of newspapers in Scotland and England that he's looking for a managerial job at some stage, and it convinced the Rangers fans that the board sort of were interested in the last guy to have won a league title for Rangers. It's not happened. They've moved on. Danny Rowley spoke to, I think, the backlash from the supporters who felt he would be a Russell Martin Mark II. I think that convinced the board not to proceed with that any further. And eventually it came round to Kevin Muscat being the favoured candidate. I agree with you. I admire his principles. He wants to see the job out in China. You look at his CV, if he sees it through, it will be his 5th title win between Australia with Melbourne, Japan with Yokohama, and China with Shanghai Port. He can, as they say, show you the medals. So he's hugely admired by the 49ers. They are keen to get him in, and I think they appreciate that the deal needs to be done correctly from Kevin's point of view, and correctly to show a bit of loyalty to Shanghai Port. But I think the deal will be done.
And no matter when Kevin Muscat comes in, David Friel, the important thing for Andrew Kavanagh, Parag Marathi and everyone else involved at Rangers is that they get this appointment right.
Yeah, under huge pressure, Andrew. Now, I mean, I think most Rangers fans, and I think especially when you knew that Andrew Kavanagh obviously coming in as owner but teaming up with the 49ers Enterprises, I think most people felt that sort of the mistakes that have been made over the last couple of months would be of the past, but it's not been a good start from them in so many ways. And you just think back to that open letter that they sent out maybe October the 6th or something, where they basically said it is our responsibility to fix it. Now, I thought it would have been fixed a long time before now. Actually thinking a roundabout way, Kevin Muscat is the right candidate. Between him, Gerrard and Danny Rowley, I think Kevin Muscat for me would be the best candidate. I think there's serious questions over how they've come to the decision and the entire process. However, they need to get it right. It's a huge appointment for them. They can't afford to make another mistake like Russell Martin one.
Fraser, the one thing that fixes literally everything in football is winning games. Rangers have a big game against Dundee United today, and a win today could be big just in terms of helping the mood around the place, couldn't it, after the last couple of weeks?
Well, it's a big debate in recent weeks as well about is it just all about winning, or do you have to win in style? When you think back to Stevie Clarke and the criticism for getting 6 points out of 6. So perhaps a wee bit of style today as well, because their only win came at Livingston when it was a late winner as well. So a scrappy 2-1 win with a late goal and being on the back foot. I'm not sure the fans would be too happy with that, but yes, you're right. Need to win football games, and I just think that the owners of 49ers, they'll never have come across anything like this in their lives. You know, they'll be in the American system where if the 49ers need a new coach, then they'll just go and do that. But everything is examined, and as Roger and David Friel and Hugh know in their business as well, they've got their eyes and ears open, and people are leaking things, and everybody's got a bit of gossip, and names are thrown in by the people who try to promote their pals or agents support their clients. They go and speak to Steven Gerrard. Whatever happened, I don't know if he was offered the job or he just didn't fancy the terms. That happens in life, but it's public, and you can't keep anything quiet. So I've got a bit of sympathy with the owners. They'll have learned an awful lot. They won't have had fans blocking the bus. They won't have had the coach had to leave through the back door. You know, they won't have had this intense scrutiny. And it came at a time where the international break, so there's no games to break up that. There's no focus on the games. The focus was solely on them. I agree with David. I think out of all the people who've been mentioned, I think Muscat's probably my preferred candidate, given his record. And I think he's got a bit of steel, as we know, as a player, and he'll bring that to the table. And I think it's worth waiting. I think it is worth waiting for him. And get Neil McCann in, or a couple other of his coaching staff, whoever's going to be on the coaching staff, get them in on a temporary basis, and then start to form part of that structure, because Muscat will be involved. There's no doubt if he accepts the job and it's the end of the Chinese season, he'll be involved in what's going on a day-to-day basis. So they need to get this over the line, though. The Muscat thing's not over the line yet. Need to do it, and do it quickly, and then get the behind-the-scenes stuff sorted.
Yes, we will keep you updated if and when Kevin Muscat is announced as Rangers manager, but for now it is time to turn our attention back to today's action. We will go back around the grounds next.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
15 minutes to go until the games kick off at 3 o'clock in the Scottish Premiership and the lower leagues. We will bring you all the action all the way through to 5 o'clock, and then from 5 until 6 it'll be your chance to have your say on the open line. We do have some big news though, Hugh Keevins.
Yeah.
About an Australian manager.
Correct.
Ange Postecoglou has been sacked by Nottingham Forest.
8 games, no wins, lost 3-0 at home to Chelsea today, and I said to you, I wouldn't be surprised, Andrew, if by 4 o'clock it came up that Ange Postecoglou had gone. And I was an hour and a quarter out. At 2:45 he's out. Such is the cutthroat nature of the business now. Ange Postecoglou, 8 games out. Russell Martin, 17 games at Rangers, out. Graham Potter, 25 games at West Ham United, out. This is the life of the manager nowadays.
No dignity. No dignity left in football. I'll tell you what, if I'm Ange Postecoglou, I'm cracking up a nice bottle of champagne tonight, nice bite tea, your Christmas is covered, another payoff, Nottingham Forest, bring the next one on, I'd be saying.
It's incredible.
39 days. That's got to be one of the shortest.
Hugh Keevins get a prediction right there. Exactly. An hour and 15 ahead. He said 4 o'clock. Listen, it's modern day football. At that level, yeah, he'll be disappointed, but as the Dazzler says there, he'll be handsomely paid off, and that's twice in recent times. But it's crazy football. It's crazy. 8 games. Wow.
David Free was suggesting that as a friend of Kevin Muscat, he could be the one that goes in and does this caretaker job at Rangers in the meantime. See that one happening, Hugh?
David Friel should go home early and have a good think about himself.
Right, let's go back around the grounds. Let's go to Easter Road, shall we? Hibs against Livingston there with Roger Hanna. David Gray's time at Hibs has been quite strange, hasn't it? In terms of he's gone on long runs, or certainly a long run, which, you know, Hibs not winning games, then had a fantastic run. It's reverting back into a poor run at the moment, isn't it?
It is, very much so. Looking at the games last night, 1 win in 11, and it really surprised me, none in the last 6. And you look through the squad, it's a strong squad. You know, they start today with Grant Hanley at centre back, Kieran Bowie at centre forward, 2 players who were involved in those 2 Scotland games that you touched upon, Simon touched upon earlier on. They've got the Cadden twins out wide. They've got a £1 million centre forward in Thibault Clige starting alongside Bowie. They look well set to push for where they finished last season. You know, top 3, they should be up there threatening the big teams, and they're not. So I think this afternoon's a big game for David Gray. If he doesn't take maximum points, and no disrespect to David Martindale's side, but if you don't take maximum points at home to Livy and you're stuck down there in the bottom 6, seasons can very quickly unravel. You know, David spoke about how many games there are between now and the end of the year. Games come upon you thick and fast, and you know, next week they go up to Pittodrie, so they will want 3 points this afternoon. But you know yourself, Livy have a penchant for making things awkward, Andrew.
Yeah, they do indeed. You look at their first 2 league games though, 4 points from that was a very good run, but since then they're another team that could do with getting a bit of green on that board.
Yeah, you know, newly promoted side, goals are always an issue. They've turned to 36-year-old Jeremy Wakela this afternoon to try and find them the goals. They've got Stevie May, they've got Conor Maclean, 2 experienced players up there to try and support. I'm interested that Mo Silla is back into central midfield. I thought he did well at centre half the last couple of games, but Shane Blaney's fit again. He's in alongside Danny Wilson. So it will be Silla in the middle of the park, quality player, but again, not a goal scorer. So, you know, you wonder where the goals come from. Scott Pittman can always weigh in with 1 from midfield, but I think that'll be the thing that's worrying David Martindale most this season. If they're going to stay away from those bottom 2 places, where are they going to score goals from?
David Friel, you're going to be watching Motherwell against Falkirk. I think a few years ago, if I was going to Motherwell against Falkirk and I said that there might be some silky football on show, there might be a few question marks, but I think people will be expecting a really good game of football and a nice brand of football from both teams today.
Yeah, tiki-taka all round, Andrew. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. Both sides, as we spoke about earlier, just like to get the ball down, play it. They've got a perfect pitch to do that. And I just think a really interesting game. I mean, James Bertalascu, what an impact he's made at Motherwell. The brand of football is outstanding. They play out from the back, they're brave. He's got really good footballers all over the pitch. They have an attacking threat from almost every area. It'll be interesting to see how they cope without Stamatopoulos today. Obviously he's come into a bit of form, 3 goals in his last 2, and Callum Hendry, who was signed during the summer, pretty decent signing for Motherwell, but was kind of held back by injury. He's coming in today, so it'll be interesting to see how that changes the dynamic of their play. But in terms of Falkirk, I've just always been an admirer of John McGlynn over the years, and to continue from League One into Championship and then into Premiership, and to have the bravery to keep playing the way they do. Okay, they do go direct at times, and obviously got Brian Graham coming off the bench, but he's got a lot of footballers on his side today, and they'll try and play as well. So no, I'm really looking forward. I think this will be a really entertaining game.
Motherwell were the draw specialists this campaign, then ended up getting their first league win, then ended up getting their first league defeat, but Jens Bertalascu will take a lot away from that defeat at Celtic Park, won't he? A lot of good things, I mean.
Yeah, and it came off the back of those 2 wins against Aberdeen, obviously won the Cup and won the league, but you maybe even take more from the way they played at Celtic Park, because there was a lot of kind of hype before the game about are Motherwell going to play the same way, and they did, and they ran Celtic really close. Celtic came on strong obviously at the end, but I just think Motherwell under Askew are just not a really good thing, and you can tell that all the players are buying into it, and that they all love the way they play, and they all love the fact that the manager is allowing them to be so brave in the ball. And their home record actually, even under Michael Wimmer, has been pretty good. I think Motherwell have lost here, I think they're 8 unbeaten here at Fir Park in the league. I think it was February the last time they lost a game here in the league. So yeah, they'll be looking at this game, I would imagine. Decent crowd here as 3 points, but Falkirk won't make it easy for them.
St Mirren against Aberdeen, one of the other 3 o'clock kickoffs. We mentioned the fact that Aberdeen possibly having a bit of a resurgence. I know it is only 1 win, but it was a good performance in the game before that against Shakhtar. A lot of eyes on them, but if you're wanting to go somewhere and try and get a result to keep the positivity, St Mirren's maybe not the ideal place that you'd pick, is it?
And Stephen Robinson's not the man you'd like to meet in the dark night. They played at Pittodrie against a Dundee team who hemorrhaged goals. It was a failing under Tony Docherty. It's become a failing under Stephen Pressley. So you have to keep that in perspective. The Dazzler and I were talking during the break, and it's hard to predict the outcome of that one. So my prediction would be a draw, actually.
You look at St Mirren as well, they bring in Dan Lundulu up top. St Mirren's recruitment over the years has been so good that they will continually lose their best players pretty much every single summer, and they'll be able to replace them. Dan Lundulu's come off the bench a few times for St Mirren this season, but there'll be hope that he can slot in there and show what Mikko Mandron and Jonah Junga and various other St Mirren players have, because that recruitment cycle they've got just seems to keep on reaping rewards.
I think that's one of the biggest things that the manager's got. He's absolutely terrific at it. He loses good players and just replaces them, and then he fits them into a system that he plays, and everybody just goes along like nothing's happened. And that's what's happened to St Mirren this year. They're sitting there 5th. Yes, he would have been disappointed. He come on, he put his hands up. He was part of a really poor performance against a very good Kilmarnock team on the day. They'll be looking to bounce back. They'll know that Aberdeen have come down, from with a little bit of confidence after beating Dundee and comfortably. But I still see that being a very, very tight game. I've got a sneaky that St Mirren will get back onto winning ways.
Right, we will get those predictions shortly, and after the break we will go back to Ibrox.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Closing in on kick-off at the 3 o'clock games across Scotland. We'll keep you updated for the next couple of hours. Let's go back to Ibrox, where Fraser Wishart can give us a final bit of build-up and a recap of the teams.
Yeah, tomorrow I think the focus will be back on when or if Kevin Muscat is appointed as manager. But today, as we've been discussing, it's all about the on-field performance by the players. Can the players respond and bring a result and a performance to get the fans excited? Senior players like Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Raskin, they have a big part to play in helping out Stephen Smith and his coaching staff to get the dressing room motivated, to get them going. But they've got to start at pace. I think the home fans just want to be entertained. Speaking to fans when you're walking up to the ground, they're absolutely desperate for something to excite them. The view of almost every one of them walking to the game was, it can't be any worse, and that's how low I think the Rangers fans have got. But if Rangers are going to win this game, they need to start at a real pace, push Dundee United back, impose themselves upon the game, and I think they've got the players to do that. They've got pace in the wide areas, they've got good midfield players. Rothwell, when he first came in, looked as if he could dominate plays as a number 6. They've got Raskin and Asgard who can get forward. They've got Bojan Majowski as the striker. The fans just want something to get them excited, and even if they don't score in the early stages, they want to make the opponents defend. They want to make the opponents' defenders feel as if they're out of breath and thinking, well, Rangers are up for this today. And that's, I think, the most important thing for this game today, is how Rangers started. Of course, they have to be aware of the pace on the break. Dundee United have changed formation to a 4-3-3. That'll go into a 4-5-1, and then they'll look to hit Rangers on the breaks. People like Dalziel, he was player of the month in the SPFL in August, and Fata, who's been in and out of the team but very, very quick. And Jim Goodwin wanted to turn the Rangers supporters against his team, and 12 of those Rangers players came in during the summertime, and I'm sure they haven't seen anything like it, the pressure and the scrutiny, but they're going to have to respond very, very quickly, because supporters want results to happen. They haven't won a home league game this season. Dundee, Celtic were draws, a defeat against Hearts, you throw in defeats against Genk and against Club Brugge as well, and you realise that this home game, this fortress, when you look at the tail end of last season as well, teams are coming here and they're fancying themselves, so that's why Rangers have to really impose themselves upon it. The players are now out, they're lined up, and as always at this time of year, an organisation that we all support in Scottish football, show racism the red card, and the players will show the cards. They've been wearing the bibs in the warm-up as well, to say that football stands against racism. Very important campaign. Just quickly go over the teams for you again. Rangers have made 3 changes to their team. Out go Giga, Barron and Moore. They drop to the bench, and then Kim Makoma, Asgard and Antman. They go with the 4-3-3 formation. Jack Butland's in goals, James Tavernier, John Suter, Derek Cornelius and Jayden Magoma at the back. In midfield, Joe Rothwell's a sitter, with beside him Nico Raskan and Tilo Asgard, who will be expected to get forward and support the forwards of Oliver Antman, Bojan Majowski and Jeda Gassama for Dundee United. 3 changes for them as well, and a change of formation to 4-3-3. Yuri Uvu, Panucci Kamara and Nikolai Moller drop out, and they go with a 4-3-3 formation. You have Genny Kucherenko's in goals, Lucas Stevenson, Bert Esselink, Christian Carestes and Will Ferry at the back. In midfield they go with Vico Tisebelj, Craig Sibbald and Julius Eskinen, with Ivan Dolcek and Amar Fata in the wide areas, supporting the lone striker Zach Sapford. Rangers fans giving the players a really good welcome when the teams were read out just 5 minutes ago. They were cheering their players, and I said earlier, they are just desperate for something to happen on the field to give them something to grab onto, something to support. And they know, the Rangers players, that if they get on top of this game, even if they don't get a goal, as I said earlier, if they can get a goal, get on top, the Rangers players fans will get absolutely behind them. You can just hear the noise cranking up, and hopefully, given the atmosphere around Rangers games recently, hopefully it's a positive atmosphere, because the vitriol and the dislike of Russell Martin has transferred into the stands, onto the pitch, I think, as well. So Rangers have got a better squad than they have produced results, but they have to start showing it on the park today. We're lining up here, just about to kick off at Ibrox. It's Rangers against Dundee United.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Simon Donnelly, it is your Saturday debut. We discovered earlier on, which means it is your first time doing the Saturday predictions. We will go for the 4 3 o'clock Scottish Premiership games. Hugh, do you want to show Simon what not to do first?
Yeah. Rangers Dundee United home win for Stevie Smith, which would see him equal Russell Martin's record in the league. Motherwell Falkirk home win for Jens Bertel Askew. Hibs Livy home win for David Gray. And St Mirren Aberdeen a draw.
Go on, Sid, I'll let you go because I'm the expert.
I don't like agreeing with you. I'm going to go for a home win at Ibrox. I think they're under severe pressure, and Dundee United have had a decent season so far, but I think Rangers will get the win. I was impressed when Motherwell came to Celtic Park last time out. Falkirk obviously doing not so bad himself, but I'm going for a home win there as well. Easter Road, I think, with the lad Bowie up top, who I really like, I think Hibs will pip it there, and I'm going for St Mirren. I think Aberdeen will find it tough again this afternoon, so I'm going for 4 home wins.
Right, okay. 2 wrong predictions here, the correct one. I'm struggling at Ibrox because I fancy a draw, but I'm going to go with Rangers to stage it. Motherwell, Hibs Livy draw. and St Mirren to beat Aberdeen.
Explain to me your logic there. You say you think it'll be a draw, but you're going with Rangers.
I'm a bit concerned for Rangers this afternoon. Depends how they start the game. I really do. I've not seen a lot that's given me confidence in the players. It's a big game for them. They've got to take responsibility. All the sort of the anger will be away from the dugout, so the concentration will be on the pitch, and it'll be interesting to see if they can stand up to it.
Sounds like classic sitting on the fence, doesn't it, Hugh?
Yeah, no, I went Rangers, didn't I? I've come right off the fence.
What were your other ones? Where did you go with Motherwell?
I went Motherwell. I went the big Marv to get a draw, because in the last 5 away games I've drawn 3.
Yep.
So I fancy them to sit in tight, ride their luck a little bit.
Hibs have drawn 5 of the last 6.
There you
5
go. There you
draws.
go, then. There you go.
What did you say for St Mirren Aberdeen, Hugh? Just for
draw for me.
Okay, right. We have those predictions locked in. We gave it the big build-up, Motherwell Falkirk, that it was going to be total football. David Friel says that the first action of the match, Falkirk launched the ball straight out of play from kick-off for a throw-in, playing for touch.
That's a new start.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's
well,
kind
apart
of a
from
trend.
remember the Edinburgh derby a couple of weeks ago,
flick it
where
up.
both teams just flicked the ball and booted it high up into the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
what a day we're having so far. Ange is gone. Brendan Rodgers is on the betting list to get the Nottingham Forest job at 6-1. The way our season has gone in the city of Glasgow, you wouldn't rule out anything.
East Kilbride 1, Elgin City 0, the first goal in Scotland in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Connor Young getting that one.
Good start for East Kilbride. I've tipped him to win that league. I think they've got a very good team indeed, and they can always add because they've got bags of money there. So off to a good start from them, but just interesting. I think there's a lot of good interesting games in the Premier League, and when you look at that Championship as well, a lot of good games there, especially for Mark. Partick Thistle against Ross County. They've started picking up a little bit. That'll be a difficult game for Mark this afternoon.
Can you imagine Derek McInnes, who will know the score at Ibrox before he kicks off against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park?
He'll probably be doing the game.
11 points in front of Rangers at the moment. So, it's a huge day from start to finish.
The way that Hearts are going at the moment, will Rangers even be a consideration to Derek McInnes?
Look, I think, if he thought that he could go 14 points ahead of Rangers if they were to lose to Dundee United, or 12 points ahead if Rangers drew, whatever. And then, tomorrow you've got Celtic. Celtic could be 5 points behind Hearts, kicking off against Dundee tomorrow. And who knows what might happen there.
Good start for St Johnstone. Sorry, Gordon, it's a good start for St Johnstone. 1-0 up away to Arbroath, and it's a man in form, Josh McPake.
Yep, it's a good start for me as well. I've got them in my 5. I'm looking at that Hearts just now. They've been absolutely terrific. 2 big games, haven't they? They've got Kilmarnock today, and then obviously the one that everybody will be concentrating after Celtic tomorrow. Celtic at Tynecastle next week.
Yeah,
with respect for Stuart Kettlewell, he's done a good job so far with Kilmarnock, and I know everyone is going on about Celtic at Tynecastle, and of course it will be sensational entertainment, but the mood will be created by what happens today in Ayrshire and tomorrow in Dundee.
Should we do this, Hugh?
Yeah.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Can you tell me the last 5 managers to take charge of a current Premiership side after the league had begun? So one manager started at 5 clubs, and then a new one came in for various reasons. Last 5 to take charge of a current Premiership side after the league had begun. And we're not talking caretaker managers here.
No caretakers or interims.
Yeah, permanent appointment.
Right, so at Clyde SSB, you can see that question written down. Simon and Gordon over there, you can quietly confer with each other so those at home can try and get the answers in, remember.
Are you asking me to ask Simon Donnelly the answers to that? A guy that's no one beat the pundit yet. Are you serious here?
Maybe this is redemption. Maybe Saturday's his day.
It's only taken him an hour to bring it up.
Are you expecting that
Yeah.
Your name's mud in the studio.
Just get through a bad spell, it happens.
By the way,
You've
the
had plenty of them over the
postman's
years.
got 3 pair of gutties. He's changed them that often, running with the match balls and the wee things
The
now.
coins.
The coins.
Poor start to the season.
So yes, you can get your answers in. You can get your answers in at Clyde SSB. Remember, you need them all in the one tweet, and it is a race, so the quickest will get on the podium. We will check in with that throughout the first halves. If people care what the Rangers interim manager is wearing, because I know it is a big topic of conversation, Stevie Smith has gone tracksuit today, which I think is to be expected. Interim manager would normally wear a tracksuit.
Yeah.
Well, 100%. I think he would, yes.
It would seem as if you were sending up Russell Martin if you turned out with the suit,
the shirt, the tie. Yeah, that's what I'd have done today.
Three-piece top hat, all sorts.
I'd have come out with the full Monty on, I've got to say.
Well, not the full Monty.
Well, that would certainly be entertaining at Ibrox. It'd be the only time I'd get a round of applause.
Be a quick exit, I think, from many people in the stands. It is a goal for Stranraer away to Edinburgh City. Finn Ekrapont on the score sheet for them. I think probably around 6 or 7 minutes gone at Ibrox, because that was a bit of a later kick-off. I think maybe the same at Hibs against Livingston. It's been pretty quiet so far, and I tell you what, that's the key word. I need to keep saying the word quiet, because maybe if I say the word quiet, this will happen.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs 1, Livingston 0, and it is the big money signing from the summer. Cleege is on the score sheet for Hibs. It is a good start for David Gray, and they have the lead.
And they really needed a good start, and they needed a good result, because, as I say, 5 draws and 1 defeat. That makes up their last 6 games. David Gray, the season began with high hopes. You remember the night they went to Ibrox to play Rangers in the Premier Sports Cup, and everyone was saying, oh, Hibs could win that would be the end for Russell Martin, and let themselves down badly that night. Now they're up against Livy, but Davy Martindale, the show ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Yeah, Thibaut Cleege, I said, brought in for, I think, a 7-figure fee in the summer. Hasn't really had too much game time, but Hibs, have the likes of Kieran Bowie and Martin Boyle up top, but he'll be wanting to show what he can do, and that's a good start for him today. Yeah,
and they've got good deliveries coming from the flanks as well, decent midfield. Look, everybody thought that Hibs would have a real good season. Still early, you've got to say. They've taken a little bit of a slip down, but I've got to say, that's a terrific start. I thought Livy would have probably made it a lot more difficult, especially opening minutes.
Yeah, it's always great to get off to a fast start, but I'm just looking at the draws. I mean, up to Motherwell, they've all only won 1 game, so there's not a lot between the sides. Hibs will certainly be looking up the way. They've got enough firepower going forward, but against a team like Livingston, it's good to get a goal early. Maybe opens the game up and they can kick on for there.
Wins just seem more valuable this season, because the rate of, or the percentage of games that have ended in a draw, I think, has been
many draws,
so much higher than it has in previous seasons. May even itself out at some point, but 3 points instead of 1 point is proven to be quite a big jump for teams at the moment.
I can't put my finger on why there should be so many draws.
I think they're so evenly matched.
Yeah,
I really do. I look at that league, and you wouldn't be surprised if you went for St Mirren against Aberdeen, right? St Mirren are 5th, Aberdeen have got off to a horrendous start. You went for a draw. So I think it's just because they're so evenly matched. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the points over from Kilmarnock right down to Aberdeen, there's 6 points. I mean, out with Hearts and Celtic, who have really kind of stretched that away with the wins, everybody else, it's been pretty even up until now.
Motherwell trying to use Tawanda Maswanisi as the big threat so far today. He's seen a lot of the ball, but yet to trouble Scott Bain. He is having a good season, though, Maswanisi.
Yeah, Motherwell are a delight to watch. I do take on board what Gordon has said about the evenly matched teams, but there are degrees of entertainment value contained within those evenly matched teams, and Motherwell are a good watch.
I thought they were really good at Celtic Park, and I think
if the goalie hadn't made that mistake,
and listen, see, up until then he'd been actually really good. I'm a wee bit old school in terms of playing it about at the back, but I get that, and they broke the lines at times. That one was just the wrong decision at the wrong time. unfortunately for Motherwell, it allowed Celtic back in that game at that point, but I thought they gave a good account of themselves.
The biggest compliment I can give them now, Motherwell, this season is I actually opened the window in my flat to hear atmosphere. I can hear the
but you're never tempted to actually go down the stairs and cross over
2 roads.
Buy a ticket.
I would certainly not buy a ticket. No, I'm going to, obviously I'm in here every week and I can't obviously get myself to a game, but midweek I'm certainly going to watch them because they have been entertaining, brilliant.
I think there was a chance a few moments ago for the informed Ivan Dolcek at Ibrox. A shot left-footed low, skimmed past the post.
I think the crowd and Fraser Wishart for that matter living minute by minute there, because the mood swings will be incredible. When Dundee United have had the miss that you describe, and the crowd would be heart in mouths at that point.
Yeah, I don't think it is a full Ibrox from what Fraser is saying, but is that just to be expected given the general mood around the place? I think it would be a different story. I think if there was, a new manager in place. Not that it seems empty by any means. I think there is maybe some protest banners going up as well that we'll get some more information on as well.
It shows you if there are protest banners going up, my guarantee is it will be against 49ers Enterprises, because, as I say, every big call they have made has turned out to be a mistake on their part. So they're getting the blame. If and when Muscat gets here, then I think you'll find not a seat to be had at Ibrox, and the determination to get behind the manager in his first home game. But right now, Rangers support are still dealing in the crazy fortnight they've had since Russell Martin left the Falkirk Stadium under police escort.
Yeah, I think the banner that's gone up says no more buses to hide in, no more, what was it, no more managers to hide behind, face your failures like a man.
That's your players. 100%. And by the way, I'll tell you what, I don't disagree with the man. I really don't. I think it is time that the players stepped up to the mark. He can hide behind the manager for so long. He's gone. So all the concentration is not at the dugout now, it's on the pitch. You've got to step up and produce, and that's what the supporters are expecting this afternoon.
I don't think you should be particularly proud of yourself because you tried to blockade the team bus. I mean, players are entitled to go to their work and leave without the fear of crowds being hostile towards them in that fashion. So the reference to the bus, I don't think that's anything to be proud of.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 1, Falkirk 0, and it is Ibrahim's side with the goal, a run and finish from him, and it is a good start to the game for Jens Bertolascu's side.
Well, he's the man. There's a bigger job coming for him, possibly within Scotland, because he's taken on the mantle there, and he has done exceptionally well. And they've still got a cup semi-final to go as well.
Yeah, I think it's a nice goal as well, started by Elijah Just. It was Ibrahim's side who took over, a lovely bit of skill to break free, an emphatic finish, but I think there is a VAR check going on, so we'll see if that one counts. And Thibaut Clige at Hibs apparently is a real handful, quick and a real threat according to Roger Hanna, so he'll be hoping that his scoring isn't done for the day.
No, good start, as I say. Hibs could be doing with a result, but VAR,
you don't like it, Hugh, do you?
It certainly helped Scotland last Sunday.
Do you like it?
Do I like it?
You're not going to like it at the moment because Stephen Maclean's going to check the screen for this Motherwell goal.
Yeah, it's getting ruled off there.
Not quite sure what it's for yet.
I'm sort of I'm on the fence. I'm having a big fence day. I'm on the fence today with VR. Sometimes I do think it is very, very good indeed when they get it correct. But then when they get it wrong, I think everybody moans about it. The one thing I don't like about it is, in our day, when you scored, you had a fair idea you scored it, and you celebrated, and in that moment, nothing better than
spontaneous feeling. Yeah, absolutely, and it's the same for the fans as well.
I got a bit boring because I'd done it 200 odd times, but I always enjoyed the first 100.
Well, that goal has been disallowed. Stephen Maclean has gone to the screen. We will find out more information if we can, but he's gone to the screen, he's come back, he's made that monitor motion, and he has said that the goal has been disallowed, so whatever was flagged up at Clydesdale House is enough to mean that it is back to being goalless between Motherwell and Falkirk.
Well, no point in complaining about it. VAR is with us and will be with us for all time.
We wouldn't have a show if people didn't complain about things, Hugh.
Well, when we sat in there last Sunday watching Scotland-Belarus, and VAR was doing this and VAR was doing that, but it got some things right, and for me got some things wrong last Sunday.
Spartans have taken the lead away to Dumbarton. Bradley White on the score sheet for the visitors in that game.
Yeah. They're just leading East Kilbride at the moment, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, the two of them are going very well indeed.
They're going to be the through, yeah.
Going very well indeed.
You had your boots back on recently, didn't you, Simon, for game Celtic Feyenoord over in Rotterdam?
It was indeed.
How was
that? I think I graced the Dutch surface for 15-20 minutes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Should have scored. He's talking about all his goals. I should have scored.
He should have
by the post.
He should have. Simon should have done.
I'm actually surprised that I got there. I think I surprised myself.
I'm surprised you lasted 15, mate. I was going to go. I was going to go 10.
15-20.
That's good. That's good.
Who was picked ahead of you then?
Younger guys.
Shadow Ree,
Samaras, Scott McDonald. They were the strike force that started.
And then
fantastic stadium, that, by the way.
Yeah,
Rotterdam,
it's nice. Yeah, I've been.
I'd love to go back and see it, the atmosphere in a proper game. I know Celtic are there next month, but I thought it was a real old school type feel about it. Big bowl.
You're milking that ex-Celtic player one, aren't you? All over the world for 10 minutes.
For the Celtic
Simon
Foundation.
should have been Donnelly.
Celtic Foundation, great cause. Great cause.
Great trips. Could you get me in?
No, for Celtic, no.
How no?
Never played for them.
Near to Shy Ferry, he went to Liverpool.
That is true.
Come
that
on,
is
near
true.
to Chip Charlie, he went to Manchester United.
I don't think he won. I don't think Lambo stuck him on. That was a few games ago.
Chip Charlie went to Manchester United.
I fixed that.
Liverpool it was.
Well, you fix it for me.
Didn't it Anfield it was?
Yeah, who called me? Somebody called me. Lou McCarry called me and said, "Can you get Chip Charlie to play for us at Old Trafford?" And I had to phone John Lambie. Can you imagine what that phone call was like?
He was the star of the show that night.
Yeah, he was.
He was brilliant.
The star of the show.
Chick was a
pulling
brilliant
strings. Thought he would sign after that. I don't know what happened.
Missed the team bus to Manchester. They had to get him down by car, and he then graces the turf at the Theatre of Dreams.
You weren't involved in the bit of the Barney at the end, were you, with the penalty that had been awarded back on the bench?
On the bench by that point. Yeah, Bruni got a red card towards the end. I think it was just an excuse to get off. I think he was tired.
Did Scott McDonald come from Australia to play that game?
He did indeed,
My goodness.
He did indeed. Yeah.
People were making a big deal about Steven Gerrard flying from Bahrain for a job interview. Scott McDonald's flying over from Australia just for a game of football.
That will be one of the great mysteries, and that would be for David Friel, for Roger Hanna, for me. That would be the scoop of scoops if you find out why Steven Gerrard flew from Bahrain and why he then decided no, the time was not right for him to return to Rangers. That would be a scoop.
Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 1, Falkirk 0. They are going to hope that this one will count. We talked about him earlier on. Tawanda Maswanise, a lovely curling shot into the top corner from the edge of the box. So Motherwell have the lead for now, but they had the lead earlier on in the game, and it was taken away because of a VAR decision. I think that one was given as a foul by side on Brad Spencer, but it is Maswanise that has the ball in the net, and we will see if this one counts. It was Ibrahim's side with a nice bit of skill again to then get the ball to Maswanise. Curling finish with the left foot. Goal stands, says David Friel, and it is Motherwell 1, Falkirk 0.
Well, what it tells me is that 20 minutes into the afternoon, Motherwell are giving Falkirk, as we say in these parts, a doing.
Yeah, great start for Motherwell. I said earlier, I think it would be a really attractive game to go and watch. I think there are more goals to come. I think the two teams get the ball down, play football. Motherwell are just on a different level just now. They really are. And nobody would have been surprised. I know what you're saying about going to Celtic Park and you thought how good they were.
Yeah.
Nobody would have been surprised if they went there and won.
Yeah.
Over the course and distance of a season, it's difficult because they've not got the biggest squad with the quality to, keep themselves well up there. But I tell you what, the Motherwell fans are loving their football just now.
74% possession for Motherwell so far in this game
I think
today.
we're talking about a team, I mean, without wanting to keep going back to Russell Martin and coming in and getting an identity, this guy Ascu's came in in a short space of time. Hugh's already got him somewhere else, which the Motherwell fans will hate, but he's got them playing some nice looking football. Okay, maybe a few draws, but they start winning, they'll move up, and they've showed their attacking intent this afternoon already.
I'm not too sure, but I think you had Jimmy playing at Barcelona at this time last year. So
keep yourself calm.
So just keep yourself down a wee bit.
There was a chance for Rangers there. It was Tello Asgard bursting forward from midfield, a shot that was deflected just wide. I think Rangers tried one off the training ground from the resulting corner, but there was just too much on it round the back post, and it bounced out for a goal kick. He is one of the players, Tello Asgard, that Rangers fans will really be looking to step up and see whether the issue was his role in Russell Martin's system and the fact that he wasn't getting the best out of him, or not, essentially.
He came up with this reputation. He was a terrific footballer, brilliant in training, everything like that. I heard so many good things. I was excited to see him play. He's offered absolutely nothing for me. He really hasn't. And I know that he went away on international duty and scored 4, but in a Rangers trip, so far, he's offered absolutely nothing for me.
I'll go back to question 1 of the 3 questions that I posed, and Asgard is part of that. Was Russell Martin a bad coach who mishandled good players? Because today is the opportunity for all of those players who are in the team against Dundee United to show that they are better than they have so far shown.
Yeah, I think obviously as well, I said at the start, there's 7 players there that you would say were Russell Martin's players, bringing them in. Now you're finding yourself in a situation in your short career at Rangers, there's another guy coming in. You're going to have to impress this guy.
Absolutely.
You're no longer playing under that comfort of the guy that so-called believed in you, bringing you to the club. You've got to go and do it all over again, starting today.
We check in on this teaser, Hugh?
Yeah, it's topical because Ange Postecoglou, who's gone into the season, and somebody will have to come in and take his place
after he replaced someone else during the season.
Yes. So can you tell me the last 5 managers to take charge of a current Premiership side after the league had begun? So one manager started the season, and then for whatever reason he left and a new one came in, a permanent one, not a caretaker, not an interim.
So Michael Smith says Simo Valakari.
I'll tell you why he's not there. Because Andy Kirk was caretaker manager, and St Johnstone are also in the Championship this year.
So it's current Premiership teams. He also goes for Stephen Robinson and David Gray.
Neither.
What? So as we go back to now.
Your only 2 guesses. Scott Connie has gone for Don Cowie.
Don Cowie, no,
because they are, of course, Ross County Championship side. He has also gone for Stuart Kettlewell.
No, I'm saying, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Greg's Gardens has gone for the likes of Alex Dyer.
Nope.
And he's gone for Michael Beale.
Nope.
John Hughes.
Yogi.
Okay, there is some work to be done on that teaser, I think, on Twitter, but also in the studio as well with Gordon Dalziel. And it is one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
What did we say? Who are we talking about? Who was one of the Rangers players that had to step up? Tello Asgard has put Rangers 1-0 up against Dundee United, and it is a brilliant individual goal according to Fraser Wishart, and that is exactly what Stevie Smith and the Rangers supporters and Andrew Kavanagh, Parag Barati, Kevin Thelwell, Patrick Stewart will have wanted.
He's really impressing me, this lad.
But it's as if a breath of fresh air has blown across the pitch. Russell Martin is gone, all the hostility from the stands has gone with him, and the crowd are desperate to believe in this team, and they've scored at any time is a terrific time to score, but first half goal I think was even more important, because you don't want to send the crowd into the interval with mixed feelings. Now they're 100% optimistic about the remainder of the day.
Fraser says he has been excellent so far today. In terms of the goal, it was a drive forward on the left, cut inside 2 defenders, blasted the ball into the top left corner. Almost has a feeling of sort of shackles off about it.
Yeah, as I say, there was a cloud over the pitch when Russell Martin was there. The crowd didn't believe in him, were actively hostile towards him, but now these players appear to be feeling the benefit of the manager having gone.
That'll be a big sigh of relief, you'd think, from everyone connected with Rangers, because this is a big day, despite the fact that it's not the start of a new managerial era. It is the end of the last era has been, and Rangers need to really start showing what the promise that came with the new investment that's not been shown at all this season.
Yeah, the most important thing is they need to get points. They're looking up the league at Hearts and Celtic, and they're wondering the fact that, hold on a minute, our form hasn't been good enough. All the focus has been put on the manager. Manager's away, new manager coming in. But the most important thing just now, until that happens, is they need to win football games, and they've got off to a brilliant start this afternoon against Dundee United.
Yeah, it is the type of thing that you've just not really seen Tello Asgard do at all this season. But in terms of the run, the finish is ridiculous by all accounts. Sort of cuts inside, curls it into the far top corner. Keepers get absolutely no chance when it comes to that.
Well, it does appear that the appointment of Russell Martin was very wrong, because nothing of that sort was ever seen under Russell Martin, and therefore the players have been let off the leash, and they are beginning to show what they can do, and that has to be for the benefit of Kevin Muscat as well. As Simon pointed out earlier, Kevin Muscat will be kept abreast on a daily basis of what's going on at Rangers, and these players are advertising their worth to Kevin Muscat.
They can't afford to slip any further behind you. It's as simple as that. They have to win the games. I said earlier on, regardless of who's in charge today, Rangers, they still have to win, and they still have to win every game, because they cannot afford to lose any more ground on Hearts or Celtic.
I would say,
and I think if we want more goals, Dazzler, you just need to criticise somebody else now, because that was right on cue.
Majowski has had a poor start. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm delighted for him. He must have heard the criticism that's come his way and obviously responded to it. I'm just seeing it coming on my phone. What a top class finish that is.
How many people have you heard say the league's gone already for Rangers? Now, come down the road with me a little bit on this one. Kilmarnock beat Hearts, for example, and all of a sudden 11 points becomes 8 points.
Yeah.
Celtic, who are going on a game by game basis, not the team they were, far from the team they were. If they were to slip up at
You're
Dundee,
now at the end of the road, mate.
No.
You're now at the end of the road.
9 becomes 6.
I was right down the hill with you, hand in hand, but when you started talking about that, there's no evidence whatsoever to say Dundee can get a result tomorrow.
Well, there's no evidence to say that any team will get a result. You have to wait till the match starts.
Do you fancy Dundee get anything against Celtic?
No.
Fraser Wishart saying the fans are noisy now inside Ibrox. That's what they needed, a goal to pick things up. It is a decent chance for Falkirk as well at Fir Park, a Miller cross, and it's Kyrell Wilson who sends the finish over. Just couldn't get over the ball to keep that one down.
Again, with regard to the noise that Fraser is speaking of, all we ever heard was terrible verbal abuse of Russell Martin. It was unpleasant. I think Derek McInnes, when Hearts won at Ibrox, described it as disturbing, and the atmosphere inside the ground was poisonous. Now that Russell Martin has gone, then it just seems to be that the Rangers fans believe a dreadful mistake has ended, and there are now grounds for optimism.
East Kilbride have a third in their game. Nathan Flanagan has put them 3-0 up, so they are looking good for 3 points
Scott
already.
Allen, what a coach that Scott Allen is.
Imagine you're playing, or you're a member of the staff of Elgin. You've come all that way.
Yeah.
You're what, 34 minutes and you're 3-0 down.
Game's over.
Oh, I'd be getting the early train.
You'd be faking a hamstring injury at half time, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would certainly be away. I would not be hanging about East Kilbride to 4:45.
A model professional, Simon, to his fingertips.
It's a long day. It's a long day if you're an Elgin player 3-0 down after half an hour or so. East Kilbride have looked strong this season so far.
You seen much of them?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Against who?
Nobody.
You're so convincing.
They were big favourites. I predicted them as well, I think, for the league.
As it stands in the Premiership this afternoon, Hibs 1-0 up against Livingston, Motherwell 1-0 up against Falkirk, Rangers 1-0 up against Dundee United, the only top flight game without a goal so far, St Mirren against Aberdeen. That one is goalless. I think Aberdeen have shaded it really in terms of possession and chances, but not too much to separate the sides so far. In Paisley,
I didn't think that one would be goal laden, I have to say. I think the Aberdeen crowd and players perhaps read too much into a 4-0 win at home over Dundee. They're finding out that Paisley, Stephen Robinson, that St Mirren side, different proposition.
Yeah, it'll be a tight game. You wouldn't be surprised, draw or the one goal for either side won that. I just fancy home advantage. Stephen Robinson will have them up for it after the disappointment just before the international break against Kilmarnock. But I think it will be a tight game.
Yeah, there won't be much in it at all. And I'm just leaning with you as well. I just think home advantage. St Mirren usually pretty strong at home, and it's incredible. Aberdeen, 4 goals in the last game, but no goals before that, and a real worry for Jimmy Tilleen at this early stage. But yeah, I think St Mirren might just shade it.
what was the one word that Russell Martin said when he came in? Dominant. He wanted to play dominant football.
Yeah.
We never really saw it from any Russell Martin sides. You look at Rangers today, pretty much 80% possession in the opening 30 minutes of the game. They've had, I think, 9 shots so far to Dundee United's 2. They've had another there with Telo Asgard, who was set up by Majovski, shot from the edge of the box, beaten away by Kucherenko. I think this was the type of football that a lot of Rangers fans were expecting Russell Martin to bring in. Maybe
we missed the first few words of his sentence. Maybe he said, my successor will want to play dominant football. Because, as I say, everything about Rangers today, it would appear, and we'll hear from Fraser at half time, but everything about Rangers, the players on the park, the crowd in the stands, the atmosphere inside the stadium, everything is different from anything we've seen since the 2nd of August when Rangers went to Motherwell, day one of the season, lost an equaliser, and Russell Martin took the players to task, talking about people who were in self-preservation mode, and nothing was ever the same until this afternoon.
There's certainly got to be that element of pride from the players as well, doesn't there? That no matter how they felt about Russell Martin's exit, that they want to go out there and show that they're not the players that they showed in the opening stages of this season.
Of course it will be, and listen, they're playing for their futures as well, but then I have to question, what has the issue been up until now then? Because they're pretty much same shape, same personnel more or less, couple of changes. Is it the atmosphere of Ibrox when Russell Martin was there that they couldn't handle? Could it come down to, specific managerial instructions as well, potentially? Are players maybe not being able to play with the freedom that they would have liked to or wanted to? Is that a potential? Well, this guy came to the club, and if anything, I thought, again, I'm going back to maybe overplaying at the back in the European games at the beginning, inviting unnecessary pressure on yourself. Is there anything really different in this team today? The only thing I can the toxic atmosphere's away, because the pile-on Russell Martin from the start of the season, it wasn't a favourable choice. I mean, I haven't seen any other manager it jumped on as quickly in recent times. So is it because of that they couldn't handle that atmosphere? I don't know.
The old favourite, have these players been cheating? Because they are far better than they have been showing so far. Or was he a bad coach who misdirected good players?
Well, certainly it is a performance that Rangers will be happy with so far. Fraser saying that they are playing at a much quicker tempo, players running in behind, stretching the Dundee United defence, and players not being frightened to sort of play that pass to try and get the ball forward quickly.
Well, there would have to be an element of analysis where this is concerned. I know that if Rangers win at 5 o'clock, there will be many callers to say that they have seen the future, and the future is a lot brighter than the recent past. But there would have to be an analysis of these players. Why, even though the coach was, to put not too fine a point in it, regarded as an oddball by the supporters, why were you not delivering in the way that you did today?
In terms of individual performances, Ibrahim Said seems to be the one really pulling the strings and making things happen for Motherwell against Falkirk. He just got Adams booked because I think he was trying to get past him. Adams wiped him out, and then he just had a run and cross for Elijah Just, who shot narrowly wide. So it is continuing to look good for Motherwell at Fir Park. It looks as if that second goal could come at some point soon.
Second goal kills a game for them. I know that sometimes you go 2-0, all of a sudden Falkirk get one back, they've got a little bit of confidence. I've said from day one, I love the way Falkirk play, I love everything about them. Manager, I had their assistant manager Paul Smith at Ayr United with me, a good friend of mine's, but I just think it's got to be a long season for them. I don't think they've got enough goals in them to survive this year. So as much as they will entertain along the way, I think that they were in real trouble from the beginning.
Yeah, Hibs still leading Livingston in that game. That would be a big win for David Gray if Hibs can hold on to that. Still, obviously, a lot of the game to go.
Yeah, it just allays some of the fears that perhaps there was a false dawn and Hibs weren't all they were cracked up to be, but the road has turned for them so far, and they need to get out of that bottom six.
I mean, they're just sitting, mid-table. I don't think they'll be overly concerned. Obviously, you want to start winning games. A decent point at Celtic Park, and then late goal for Hearts in the derby wasn't ideal, but they've got off to a good start today, and I think moving from midfield to front, they're attractive to watch as well. They've got Boyle, Bowie, the lad that scored today. I think they've got enough there to just... The league's screaming out for a team like Motherwell or Hibs to take it by the scruff of the neck and win a few games and get themselves right up there, because, as we said earlier on, there's not much between those teams.
There's the Seagulls, Hugh. 1-0 up against Newcastle.
Never any doubt. Danny Welbeck, he's been top class. As things stand, in the Premiership table, Rangers would go up to third. I mean, that's how daft it all is. And Kilmarnock, they go a point above Kilmarnock as things stand.
Hold on, what about Motherwell?
Yeah, they'd be behind Motherwell and Hibs as it stands.
Yeah.
On goal difference.
That doesn't suit the argument.
You're just dismissing my team, Motherwell. We're leading 1-0.
You open your window to hear the crowd, but
yeah,
wouldn't go across the road and buy a ticket.
That's exactly.
Yeah, as it stands, Motherwell, Hibs and Rangers would all be on 11 points, but Motherwell would have a slightly better goal difference than Hibs, and Hibs would have a slightly better goal difference than Rangers.
I think if Rangers score an 11 before half time, like Motherwell, then it's early finish for Motherwell and Rangers, because you wouldn't see Falkirk scoring 3 times at Fir Park, and you certainly wouldn't see Dundee United scoring 3 times at Ibrox.
They've got to be a wee twist. Everything's going too simple this afternoon.
Too straightforward.
Yeah, your Rangers, Motherwell, Hibs, St Mirren, Aberdeen's got to be a tight game. It's all happening just now. Everybody's comfortable, but there's got to be something happening in second halves.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything going forward, but it would be incredible just for the mood around Ibrox and around Rangers. If Rangers got a couple of goals and ended up for third, for example, at the end of this weekend, it just looks massively different from being 8th in the table, doesn't it?
Well, as I say, at 5 o'clock I confidently expect fans to come on and say this team could yet win the league.
I tell you what, Motherwell fans seem as if they could win the league. They are loving the football that is on show today against Falkirk. David Friel saying that Ibrahim Said once again firing over after a brilliant move. He's been the main man. Emmanuel Longello left Lewis Nielsen in a daze during that move. Falkirk getting a real run around so far, and Motherwell just continuing to play the football that they've had so many plaudits for doing so.
I'm just wondering which job Jens Bertil Askew could
got
get.
him going again.
Have you got
He's
him?
got him away again.
The new agent is out. Agent Keevins is on the road.
Motherwell fans will be phoning in tonight. Not happy with you, Hugh.
Well, no one's ever happy with me.
I think, listen, it's a results-based game, but it's also entertainment, and I think this guy has brought a bit of entertainment to Motherwell.
Yeah.
I think, and the fans have reacted accordingly. The issue or the concern at the moment is that they're only 1-0 up with all their play, but they've certainly got off to the season looking the part and a nice style about them.
I'd like to check if we do have a podium for this teaser, and then we can wrap it up. I don't think so, Hugh. We will have to wait a little bit for that. Not sure how folks on Twitter are getting on.
One last go at the question. Tell me the last 5 managers who took charge of a current Premiership side after the league had started. So one manager started the season, something happened, and another was brought in at various points in the season.
Yes, get your answers in at Clyde SSB if you haven't already, and we will get you that podium shortly. Assuming people have made it onto the podium, Hugh. Well, I don't think so by the sounds of things. I think it's maybe a tough one out there.
They don't know how tough.
You know what? We will wait on
that
one. A few people have got 4, but no one has got all 5.
We've got nationalities.
I'm trying to write.
We've got countries, but we've not got names.
Just throwing a dart at a map and then trying to name managers.
He's writing
I'm
down
giving him
countries.
clues.
Yeah.
You don't get them, no. You know who I mean?
Aye, I know who you mean.
Okay, we are closing in actually on the half-time whistles. I think the matches at Ibrox and Easter Road started a bit later than some of the other games, so we've maybe got a few minutes to go in those matches. I think probably at Fir Park and then at the Smythe Stadium it will be closer to half-time. Has been pretty quiet, I think, at the Smythe Stadium so far. Motherwell really looking good at Fir Park so far. Hibs with that lead against Livingston, and Rangers with a dominant display so far against Dundee United. Tello Asgard with the only goal in that game. He's also just had a shot deflected off of Lucas Stevenson. It was looping, but a good save by Kucherenko to tip it over. So Tello Asgard certainly in the mood today.
Well,
could have had 3, says Fraser Wishart.
Very interested to hear the callers, because even as late as last night, you and I were on Super Scoreboard, and there was an air of desperation about the Rangers supporters. How low could it sink? And the whole fiasco surrounding Gerrard, the blame apportioned to 40 Leonard Enterprises for getting just about everything wrong. A real sense of despair. And, we can't see what's happening at Ibrox, but you can practically feel the good vibrations coming across the River Clyde.
Yeah, they've certainly had a very good opening first half. Well, nearly the first half, still a little bit to go, but by all reports coming in from Fraser, there really should be more than one goal up. Goalkeeper having good save after good save. Asgard's due saying, obviously talked him into a terrific 40 odd minutes. But interesting to see if they can keep it going in the second half as well.
I am just interested in the perception of Kevin Thelwell and all this, and look, it is just one player's performance in one game.
Yeah.
But if quite a few of these Rangers players end up proving that they're actually a lot better than they showed in the opening stages of this season, how and when does the gauge on Kevin Thelwell's job and work change?
Well, you have to wait a while, first of all, to see
definitely.
if it's maintained, and secondly, fans are very, very reluctant to say, you know what, I got it wrong. They really don't like doing that, but they may have to, as you say.
I know one person in here has got that attitude, but I'm not going to point him.
Yeah. No, the good thing about me is I don't care.
I know what you're saying, Hugh. I'd be very surprised. Look, what did they bring in? Round about 13 players.
Yeah.
I don't think they're all going to start turning into superstars. Look, Asgard's had a very good first 45 minutes, according to Fraser at Ibrox, and scored a wonder goal. But there's still a lot of players there still to prove their worth for me.
That's exactly what Daz is saying. It's 45 minutes, and we're looking at the stats, and the reports that are coming in, it looks as if Rangers have had a comfortable 45 minutes. I don't think they've had anything testing going the other way, which is maybe, a real plus, because you look at that back line being tested of recent times. I think the 45, it's a step in the right direction.
Right, let's round this off, Hugh.
Okay.
The first half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 5 managers who took charge of a current Premiership side after the league had started are Michael Vimmer, who took on Motherwell after Stuart Kettlewell left in January of this year, Neil Critchley, who took over from the caretaker manager Liam Fox at Hearts. That went well. Philippe Clement, who took on Rangers after Stephen Davies was caretaker manager. Nick Montgomery, who went to Hibs after David Gray was caretaker manager. And Stephen A. Smith, who took on Hearts after Frankie McAvoy was manager.
I think the person that was closest was Scott Connie on Twitter, but nobody got all 5.
Seriously?
Right? Yeah, nobody got all 5. Right, we will have the Who Am I in the second half, but let's go to Ibrox half time. Rangers against Dundee United. Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, it's Rangers 1, Dundee United 0. The Rangers fans were saying to me beforehand, it can't get any worse. I think at half time they'll be saying that's more like it. A positive performance from the kick-off. They took the game to United. They were not frightened to go and be positive and take people on or to run in behind, and they've created a lot of chances, but the only goal so far, a brilliant one from Telo Asgard, who has been outstanding in the first 45 minutes. The Rangers started positively. Tavernier and Antman have caused problems down the right hand side all day. Gassama on the left. Plenty of crosses into the United box, but no real chances. The first chance actually came for Dundee United in the 9th minute. Lucas Stevenson with a really good ball to set Dalcek away on the left hand side, running into the box. Suter was backing off, frightened to make a challenge, and Dalcek's shot was inches wide with Butland at full stretch. But after that, it was all Rangers. 17 minutes, skipper Tavernier broke into the space. I said earlier, not frightened to drive into space in the midfield. 25-yard shot, dipped to just over. 2 minutes later, Asgard did similar for the midfield. His shot was deflected off Hesselink, and it drifted inches wide with the keeper stranded. Then a Tavernier free kick caused real problems, not cleared. Suter flick was going in, it was scrambled away the United defence. But 25 minutes, the opener came, and what a goal. Taylor Asgard inside left, drove forward into the space, committing defenders, went past 2, cut inside in the corner of the penalty box, and curled the ball with real pace and venom into top left hand corner. Kucherenko no chance. It was a wonderful goal, and there's a weight lifted off the fans' shoulders. Ibrox now noisy, the fans delighted, and it was chance after chance from then on. 32 minutes, Rothwell and Majowski combined to set up Asgard again. 18 yards, struck his shot well, good save by Kucherenko to his right. Majowski then gets head to a Raskan cross, it looped just over and landed on the top of the net. Then Asgard again with a shot deflected from Stevenson, tipped over by Kucherenko, and the keeper had to move smart to save with his legs from Antman a couple of minutes later as Rangers threatened to get that second. They couldn't get the second, but a really good reaction at half time for the Rangers fans. It's very comfortable so far. The only downside perhaps is they might just need a second goal. United haven't been in it so far, and they'll be happy it's only one, but much better in the first 45 minutes from Rangers. Half time at Ibrox, Rangers 1, Dundee United 0.
What about Motherwell against Falkirk, David Friel?
Yeah, Motherwell well on top. Andrew, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 0. They get clapped off the pitch just a couple of minutes ago. They're deservedly ahead thanks to Tawanda Maswanisi's brilliant strike. What a performance it's been from Motherwell. They've been entertaining, they've been really good. They've only got one goal, and that'll be the one thing that James Bertilascu will be asking more of from his players, but they're giving Falkirk a chasing here and are passing off the pitch at times. Ibrahim Saeed, he's been outstanding. He also the goal ruled out by VAR before Maswanisi found the top corner to put them ahead. Falkirk haven't really turned up at all. John McGlynn demanding a lot more from his players in the second half. They'd actually set their stall out by launching the ball straight out for a throw-in from the kick-off. I think that was designed to pin Motherwell back and try to stifle them, but it didn't work. Saeed, Elijah Just, Maswanisi, they've all been outstanding in the first 45 minutes, really good stuff. In 17 minutes, Saeed thought he'd given Motherwell a lead. He burst past 2 Falkirk defenders, fired past Scott Bain, but referee Stephen Maclean was told to have a check on a foul by Saeed on Brad Spencer in the build-up, and it was ruled out. However, Motherwell were undeterred after that, and they took the lead just 6 minutes later in 23 minutes. Saeed again involved in another drive and run. He nudged the ball to Lucas Fadinger, who then found Maswanisi. He curled a superb left-footed shot into the top corner from 16 yards to put Motherwell ahead. There have been other chances from Motherwell. Elijah Just, he was so unlucky not to get one. sides, been so good, just outstanding. Fired one over the bar as well. Falkirk have been just to breaks mostly. They almost made the most of one. Calvin Miller, great run down the left, picked out Kyrell Wilson, but he just couldn't keep his shot down. So Motherwell totally in control, but Falkirk will be able to hang on to the fact that it is only 1-0. But as things stand, Motherwell on their way to 3 points. Half time, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 0.
And at Easter Road, Hibs against Livingston. Roger Hannah.
Yeah, Hibernian 1, Livingston 0 at the break, Andrew. And this might be remembered as the afternoon when Hibernian's record signing Thibaut Clichy finally showed why David Gray lashed out £1 million to get him from Lucerne in the summer. He scored the only goal that came in 9 minutes. It was a mistake with Livingston. Shane Blaney was careless in possession, let the ball slip out for a throw in the right hand side in an advanced position. Quick throw, it went into Daniel Barlaser in the midfield. He fed Clichy. He went through a weak challenge in the edge of the box. He went in the right side of the box and he absolutely lashed a right foot shot high past the Livingston goalkeeper Jerome Prior and into the roof of the net. And since then he's really tried to go from strength to strength. He's really displayed his threat. He raced onto a ball over the top. Minutes later his shot was weak and it was clutched by Prior. He then turned creator. He fed a ball into the path of the Scotland striker Kieran Bowie, but his right foot volley also just flew inches wide of Prior's right hand post. It was domination from Hibs. Livingston lost centre back Blaney to an injury. On came Andy Winter. That meant Daniel Finlayson went into the back three, but it really couldn't stop Hibs pouring towards goal. And again Clichy in 36 minutes busting clear this train, dragging a right foot shot just beyond Prior's far post. Nicky Cadden, he had a 30-yard free kick which went into Prior's gloves before the break. Clichy, he then turned creator again, this time teeing up Nicky Cadden down the inside left channel, but his angle shot just too high, denying Hibs a second goal. Livingston needed to get something into the game in an attacking sense. Conor McLennan flashed a shot high over the bar in 42 minutes, but Mo Silla was booked right at the end of the half for taking down Bowie, and it's Bowie and especially Clichy who are really taking the fight to Livingston. It's only been one win in 11 games before this for Hibernian, Andrew. I'm quite sure they're going to get a second win this afternoon. It's Hibs 1, Livy 0.
It's also finished at, well, it's half time. St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 0. It looked as if it was a decent start to the game for Aberdeen. No real big chances. And then it has been St Mirren that have come into it a bit more in the last 10 minutes of that first half. We will be back shortly and we'll bring you a roundup of all the half time scores from across the country.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's just about to kick off across Scotland. I think we are already back underway when it comes to St Mirren against Aberdeen. Let's see if we can go back to Ibrox where Fraser Wishart is before the players come back out, or maybe as the players come back out. Fraser, how is the general mood around Ibrox, just given how the first half has gone?
Oh, much happier. Really good reaction from the supporters at half time, and understand. I think Rangers had 18 shots, I think 4 or 5 on target, but they were in and around United's box for the whole time, and it was about a change of tempo. Tavernier and Antman on the right hand side, Gassama and Asgard on the left, not frightened off the ball to run in behind, but when they had the ball as well, and Rothwell was excellent. Draftgan's playing as the 6. You know, they would drive into space. If there's space there, they would go beyond the midfield and be much more positive. So you can only see Rangers getting 1 or 2 more. One change at half time for Dundee United. Ivan Dolchik has come off, and on has come Nikolai Moller. But to be honest, United have hardly been seen as a force. It's only one in it though. That's what Jim Goodwin was saying at half time, as would Stephen Smith. He'll want a second goal quickly to then enjoy the rest of the game.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Yeah, that is the thing, Simon. It's a good half from Rangers, but that is all it is at the moment. It's a good 45 minutes of football.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier on. 45 minutes. I don't think anybody will be getting carried away, but a significant improvement. Asgard with a fine finish and comfortable. You know, as I said earlier on, just before half time, a back four or a back line that's been tested and, you know, beaten at times in this early part of the season. They've looked comfortable. It's a stepping stone though. It's 45 minutes.
The only chance I remember you describing for us, Andrew, in the first half for Dundee United was from Dolchik. So I'm a little surprised to find out that he's been left in the dressing room.
Yeah, top scorer in the league. You wonder whether that is to do, whether it's a tactical decision. Maybe Nikolai Moller is definitely more of a physical presence. Maybe it is that, and he'll help Dundee United potentially get up the park. Or maybe he's injured, and that is the reason behind it. We'll wait and see on that one.
But Fraser sounds quite confident that Rangers will go on and get another goal, and at that point there's no comeback from Dundee United, no matter who's on the park.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hugh. I think if they can get the next goal the way they've played in the first half, then I think there's only one winner, and Rangers fans would probably leave Ibrox this afternoon delighted with the way their footballs went. But don't write out Dundee United yet. As Simon said, it's been a really positive first 45 plus for Rangers. Can they do it for 90 minutes?
Arbroath 1, St Johnstone 1 is an equaliser for the home side. Finlay Marshall getting the goal there. There was one change for Falkirk at half time. Sam Hart came off, he was on a booking, and Philip Lissa came on. Instant impact from him because it was a run down the left. He squared it, but Wilson was caught on his heels and Motherwell clear. So Falkirk trying to show a bit more than they did in that first half against a very good Motherwell side.
Speaking of Wilson, Mark Wilson, Partick Thistle, no, they're drawing with Ross County.
Yep.
And the last 2 weekends, St Johnstone have drawn.
Yep.
And Thistle have also drawn and failed to take advantage of the situation. So it's a draw again where Arbroath and St Johnstone are concerned. So Thistle at home to Ross County could do with a goal for the Jags.
Yeah, they've got a game in hand as well.
Still a bit of football to go.
A wee bit of football to go, but at one point you thought St Johnstone were just going to keep on winning and run away with it.
Listen, the only concern, Hugh, for us is to keep Mark winning so he's still in a job for his wedding so we can get a free bar.
I thought you were going to say so he wasn't free on a Saturday afternoon, so he didn't need to come back in here.
No, the free bar is the most important thing, so keep him winning.
I tell you who was maybe not a happy man at the break, David Martindale, because he's made 3 changes at half time. Muirhead, Tate and Montagno come on. Wilson, Pittman and McLennan go off. So maybe not happy with what he saw. 1-0 down to Hibs at the break.
Triple substitution at half time is always a surefire condemnation of the way the team have played first half, and if he could have taken off 10 of them he might have done, but he can't.
Before we get any goals in the top flight in the second half, Hugh, let's do this.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I'll write this one, Daz, pay attention.
Okay.
I have been managed by Dario Gradi and Colin Calderwood. I have played alongside Wes Morgan, Chris Commons and Russell Martin. I also played with Rab Douglas at 2 different clubs. Who am I?
Oh, hold on a minute, there's too much. Go ahead, say that again, Hugh.
Managed by Dario Gradi and Colin Calderwood. Played alongside Wes Morgan, Chris Commons and Russell Martin. I also played with Rab Douglas at 2 different clubs. Who am I?
Yes, you can get or you can see that in full at Clyde SSB, because it is a lot of information, and on X is where you want to get your answers in. Remember, it is a podium, it is a race. You want to be the quickest off the mark, so all you need is one answer in one tweet, and we will reveal the winners later on in the show.
Yeah, a toughie.
It is a toughie.
Yeah.
What was the Rab Douglas bit again?
Well, I've played at 2 different clubs with Rab Douglas.
Dario Gradi, do you know who that is?
I do, yeah.
What team did he manage?
Let's not give away too much information for those at home.
Crew, no.
Okay, well, let's do that. Just seeing a photo of another banner that's been unfurled at Ibrox at half time. It has the sort of railway symbol at either side, and it says Stuart Thelwell, pack your bags and go before we pack them for you.
Interestingly,
not in the sort of usual Union Bears section. That one is across from the main stand, I think.
I mean, by all means, the protest is legitimate. It's just that tone, or we'll do this for you, and the thing about the buses, there's nothing to be proud of about the blockade in the team bus. Nothing to be proud of that Russell Martin had to leave with a police escort. By all means, protest and say that Patrick Stewart's been a bad move and Kevin Thelwell's been a bad move, but just be mindful of the tone.
You know who is going to be proud? David Friel. Let's get the teaser answer already.
Friel?
Yep.
Somebody must have given him that. He's not got that knowledge in his bag.
He's got it. He can't be on the podium though, so top spot on the podium is still available. So get those answers in. Remember, you can see the question in full at Clyde SSB.
The postie entered that proud Hall of Fame, gave me a lift home after Super Scoreboard the other night.
Did he?
Yeah, my wife said to me that we called.
I'd rather walk, mate.
Well, she said, who dropped you off? I said, David Friel. She said, we're calling you the hitchhiker.
Oh, Arbroath 2, St Johnstone 1. They have turned things around. Gavin Riley with the goal in that game to put them ahead. So that would be a big result if Arbroath can hold on to that lead. Ibrahim's side has just continued the way he left off in the first half. A good run and shot. This one was saved. So he is a man
now here's a
in
real
form today.
Here's a real chance for Partick Thistle, Simon.
Certainly is. That game in hand as well, but St Johnstone have kind of faltered in recent weeks. That's a huge turnaround for Arbroath at this early stage of the second half.
Penalty to Hibs. So those changes that David Martindale made at the break, all three of them have conspired to give away a penalty.
How many times do you see a manager making 3 changes at half time that turns round? St Mirren tried it at Kilmarnock Park as well, didn't they?
Oh, it was one of the guys he brought on as well. It was Montagno on Cleege. Cleege showing once again that he is a real threat, and it will be Kieran Bowie to take, who maybe looks a bit off form, maybe in the between the last 2 international breaks, didn't sort of back up the form that he had at the start of the season, but he'll be pleased if he can get himself a goal from the spot. Last
weekend they put on a Scotland jersey against Belarus, and this weekend he's got a chance to put this game beyond all doubt.
Well, no, he doesn't, because he's done that thing where I think he was just the man holding the ball. You know how players sort of hold fort, so if there's any distractions going on, and he's handed the ball to Jamie McGrath. That's unsurprising, actually. He is good from set pieces.
How can you blame this on Marvin Bartley, Dazzler?
I can't. I've got to just say that they're poor.
Yeah.
I can't. I've no defence whatsoever for them. But Big Mar's looking in good shape. That's the best you can say about him.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Jamie McGrath converts the penalty. It is Hibs 2, Livingston 0, and it is well deserved from David Gray's side.
That's that game done and dusted.
Should be.
But the others all remain in doubt, including the one at Ibrox, because it's still 1-0. And although Dundee United appear not to have troubled Jack Butland, you never know.
Yeah, that is a big thing, because Rangers, first of all, need to show a better level of performance, which they have done up until this point. They need to be better defensively, which by all accounts they have been today. They need to score a lot more goals than they have been so far this campaign. So Stevie Smith and the Rangers players, we want to go out and make sure that they add to that one goal that they've got, or else it could once again get a bit nervy towards the end of the game.
Listen, form hasn't been great of late, so you go into the depths of the game towards the 90 minutes, it's still 1-0. A little bit of doubt might creep in.
Well,
Stevie Smith and the boys will definitely be looking to try and get that second goal just for the little bit of comfort.
Simon, you right back to the first game, Fir Park. Rangers 1 up.
Yep.
3 minutes to go, and
almost lost it.
Yeah, but Motherwell got their equaliser, and things were never the same thereafter.
Oh, we've got 2 of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0, and it is Alex Gogic with the opener on his 150th appearance for the club. There is a goal in the Championship. Tony Watt to score for Partick Thistle to put them 1-0 up against Ross County. And what about this for an interesting goal in the Premiership?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Motherwell 1, Falkirk 1. It has been all Motherwell. They have looked brilliant today. However, it doesn't matter if you then go and concede. Calvin Miller with this goal. It was a cross in, McKeever with a touch, and Calvin Miller with the low finish. And all of a sudden, it's looking different at Fir Park.
About that big job for the Motherwell manager. Yeah. We'll just have to hold fire on that one for a while. But that's a terrific comeback by John McGlynn's team. Because by the sound of it, they were getting played off the park. One Motherwell goal disallowed by VAR. Then they score to make it 1-0. Now it's back to equality.
Well, it's going to be checked as well, because there's a chance this one could be offside. So Motherwell had one ruled out, and it has been given.
So 1-1. Game on. I knew it'd be a good game at Fir Park. Entertaining. Just on that, Hugh, Sid and I have both got the same.
And you're both correct.
Too easy.
Got the answer on the second half teaser. Arbroath 3, St Johnstone 1. Finlay Marshall with his second of the game. Hamilton, who look in all sorts of trouble financially at the moment, they are 2-0 up away to Montrose. Ollie Shaw on the score sheet for them.
They are flying, Hamilton.
I really find that an astonishing story, and all credit to John Rankin, because there were reports during the week that there were fears Hamilton Accies might not be able to complete their fixture list for the season. And John Rankin has done an amazing job under very trying circumstances.
VAR check in Paisley, and that Alex Gogic goal has been ruled out. So it's back to St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 0. And I tell you what, almost 2-1 to Falkirk. McKeever denied from close range. It was a great pass from Tate. Things are turning on their head all over the place.
If I was in the flat, the window would be getting closed right now, the way things are going at Fir Park. But that's a blow for St Mirren and Big AG. I'll speak to him at the school gates on probably Tuesday and ask him his opinion on it. But still a winner there in Paisley, and I still think St Mirren will edge it.
Rangers have started the second half well, but the game just a bit scrappier, I think, so far than it was in the first half. A few injury stoppages and fouls, but it remains 1-0 to Rangers over Dundee United. East Fife have an equaliser against Alloa. Michael McKenna from the penalty spot. Stirling Albion have also equalised away to Annan. Ryan Shanley with that goal. Well, Motherwell are rattled, according to David Friel.
Oh dear. On the ropes, Hugh.
Amazing what a goal can do in football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a funny old game. Motherwell so dominant in that first half. Chances, goal disallowed, looked as if it just highlights the importance of getting a second goal.
Steel men.
You don't get it.
Steel men will come back and show.
Think so?
Yeah, that's why they're called the steel men.
But we're Partick Thistle now. All attention turns
what a
to Maryhill.
for Willow.
We cannot.
Unbelievable.
We cannot have him top of league at any point in the season. We can't.
Will he put that in his wedding speech?
We cannot have that.
I tell you what, as it stands, and things are changing all over the place, so I wouldn't count on this. It would be St Johnstone top of the table with 24 points. Partick Thistle second on 21, but
game in hand.
Thistle have a game in hand.
Yeah. Who's their game in hand to?
Good question.
Question.
Not 100% sure.
Could he be top of the table by his wedding day?
I know, we'll need to work
if
that one
there's,
out.
I know one person that won't be attending the wedding.
Ayr United on Tuesday.
See, do your homework, Andrew. If you've got to come out there with things like that, information. Firhill.
Oh, a biggie.
Tuesday night.
Alec Ray versus Scott Brown. How do you like that one on the touchline?
Tasty.
After his display against Feyenoord.
Both in it, 1-0 at half time. 3 goals. Start the second half.
David Friel is trying to give Ibrahim's side a new nickname. He says some of his runs today have been ridiculous, dropping shoulders all over the place. Snake hips.
Oh, snake hips.
Pretty much every bit of communication coming from that game almost has been about Ibrahim's side. Looking forward to seeing the highlights of his display
probably not
today.
get a kick, will he? He'll be get subbed in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, he certainly has been on good form today, but it doesn't matter because Falkirk have had that equaliser. It is Manchester City 2, Everton 0. I think Erling Haaland has scored both goals in that game.
Fantasy football.
What?
Big Haaland, my skipper.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, that must have been a real... I have wondered why Bree can get rid of Ewan Wilson after that shout.
Double points.
That's a brave one to go for.
Is that something to be celebrated? The guy who's almost guaranteed to be top goal scorer, you captaining him?
Yeah.
You could slip ground if you've not got him as your skipper.
Anyway,
bit better by Dundee United, getting into some alright positions in the box. Rangers defending well at the moment.
Anyway, Simon got this right and the Dazzler, so I have been managed by Dario Gradi and Colin Calderwood. I have played alongside Wes Morgan, Chris Commons and Russell Martin. I also played with Rab Douglas at 2 different clubs. Who am I?
Ian Higgins says David Marshall.
Not there.
David Dock, I don't know whether he's guessing or just typing in the names of random footballers, because he's gone for Saul Bamba, he's gone for Derek Riordan, he's gone for Kenny Miller.
And neither, or I should say, none of the 3 are correct.
Marco Looney has also gone for Kevin Miller. Mark Robson's gone for Gary Holt.
No.
Davy Dock has also gone for Lee Griffiths. Paul Devine has gone for Steve Guppy. That's what I like. You know, it's a good question when there are so many different wrong answers. There are loads. Raven Woods has gone for Barry Nicholson. So keep those answers coming in at Clyde SSB. You can see the question in full. There are going to be some changes for Motherwell. So clearly Jens Bertolascu has realised that the game has completely changed in complexion. Stamatolopoulos coming on, Regan Charles Cook coming on, and Stephen O'Donnell coming on as well. Hendry, Just and Longello are off.
Stephen O'Donnell's last appearance was on Super Scoreboard.
It was on Monday night.
And now he's a football player again.
He was hoping to be involved in Beat the Pundit, but still hasn't had his opportunity. I don't think. Oh no, Stephen played, didn't he? Played on Monday.
Yeah,
you text him.
Good luck.
Oh yeah, you text him to try and put him off.
I sent him good luck.
It was my good luck.
You need more than good luck.
It absolutely was not a good luck text he sent either. He was sending him abuse.
Did he win?
Yeah, he won.
You need the answers in front of you. You don't need good luck. You need the answers written down.
I had 2 wins in 72 hours this week.
Wednesday
and Friday.
Good form from Hugh. Yep.
Class, Hugh.
Pressure's off because Sid's still here.
Massive save from Shamal George in Paisley. So St Mirren thought they'd taken the lead earlier on in the game through Alex Gogic. That one was ruled out, and now they've had their goalkeeper Shamal George keep the score goalless. There is a couple of changes for Falkirk as well. Aguiman and Cartwright coming on. Henry Cartwright will be hoping to do what he did against Rangers before the international break.
Yep.
If it is a draw in Paisley, as it is at the moment, Aberdeen would stay bottom of the table, 8 games in. Ange Postecoglou with 8 games and now is an unemployed manager.
The yellow cards are coming out at Ibrox in pretty quick succession. Sapsford was booked for dissent, then quickly followed into the book by Moller and Esselink for fouls.
Whatever happened to Jan Venegoor of Hesselink, Simon? When your senior matches, you ever feature him?
He played in the last game last month. He wasn't playing this one, so I'm assuming he would be working. I think he's scouting for one of the big 3.
Who's the worst player you've got?
Samaras had a poor 45. He had a poor 45.
No, but who's the one that you look in the dressing room and go, can't believe he's here?
Me.
No, I know the boys will do that, but I'm talking about you. Right, who's the one? Come on.
Nah, not really.
Nah, don't start on that. Don't say they don't deserve a place in the squad. Who's the one you go, look at the state of him? What's he doing here?
What should you say, Mark Wilson? Be careful.
Mark Wilson wasn't there. Mark Wilson's too busy playing for Dundee United now. No, there wasn't anybody really like that.
It's alright, Simon. Just write it down and show Gordon Dalziel, and he definitely won't say it out loud on here.
He's looking for a name. Looking
for a story.
Georgie said a terrible 45. Terrible 45.
Is that all he lasted, 45?
He got the hook. Toshin.
You say, is that all he lasted for? That's double the amount of time that Simon Donnelly played.
At that level, 45 is decent.
He's only there for a trip. He'll put the strip on, do 10 minutes, boom, I'm off.
Jealousy's a terrible thing.
It certainly is.
Another goal for Hamilton, 3-0 up away to Montrose now. Stephen Bradley on the score sheet. So it has been a good afternoon for the Ackies, despite everything that's surrounding the club at the moment.
It's nothing short of phenomenal on the part of John Rankin and those players, because the club is in utter turmoil. There are fears they won't make it to the end of the season.
I'll stop you there, Hugh.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Rangers 1, Dundee United 1. Trapanovsky, who I think came off the bench, has equalised just off the bench as well. Trapanovsky, and things have changed at Ibrox because Dundee United have an equaliser literally just on first touch. There will be a VAR check, so we will let you know how that goes, but as it stands, Dundee United have an equaliser.
What did I tell you at 3 o'clock?
You did. No, he told us it.
I'm back on the fence. I'm right up there.
It's for a potential offside in the build-up. So we will see if that goal is going to stand or not. Goal given.
Oh, well, that changes the mood altogether.
Certainly does. You called it at half-time.
I blame Russell Martin. He should be there in the stand supporting him.
That is a big goal. Huge.
Oh, huge. I'm surprised, actually. The Rangers have been so dominant, to use the Russell Martin word. First half, the crowd so buoyant, the mood so optimistic, and now a tremendous downer. And very, very dangerous last quarter of the game for Rangers. A draw, you know what I always say, a draw is a disaster, a defeat's a catastrophe. At the moment they've got a disaster on their hands, they need to avoid a catastrophe.
You called it at half-time, didn't you?
There's something about, as much as I was listening to everybody so confident about the first 45 and things are looking great, the fans are happy, Fraser was talking about it, positivity that was coming. I look at this team right now, I don't think there's 90 plus minutes in this team. I really don't. And I was a bit concerned at the beginning of the game, if they lose a goal or things aren't going right for them. What they needed this afternoon was their dominance in the first half, getting 2-0. I think it's a different ball game. 1-0, you still leave Dundee United an opportunity to come back at you. All of a sudden there's pressure on them.
It was a ball over the top down that right channel. Player gets to the byline, it's cut all the way back through the box, goes through everyone, gets to Christian Trapanovsky, who takes a couple of touches outside the box, fires it low through bodies. I think Jack Butland gets a hand to it, maybe could have done better, but is unable to divert it past the post. And it's all looking different at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Dundee United 1. This will be a big test of the character of these Rangers players now. They've had a lot of tests of character so far this season, and they've not shown up in a lot of them, Simon.
No, and it's 20 minutes at Ibrox now where you question the mentality again, because as Daz says, they've not put Dundee United away in that first half. The reports, I use the word comfortable, not a lot of pressure on them, 1-0 up, couldn't get the second goal, and all of a sudden it's 1-1 with 20 minutes to go, and that's when mentality is required.
Wonder if there's a broken video printer there, Hugh Keevins, because it is reporting that, or maybe it's going back and correcting the goal scorer, potentially. The Partick Thistle goal was by Oisin Smith, I think, instead of Tony Watt.
Mark Wilson wouldn't have cared had the goal scorer been Gordon Dalziel, so long as he got it. And it's a big finish for them, big finish for Rangers. As I say, a draw's no use to Rangers today. That doesn't build a confident mood among the supporters. They really have to leave Ibrox celebrating a win, so 20 very important minutes.
Yeah, Teleprinter never made that mistake in my day, Hugh.
No.
Just used to put my name up and then wait for the time.
Yeah. I remember it well.
A test for Stevie Smith as well in the dugout. He will no doubt make some changes around this time. I think Yusuf Chermiti is getting stripped and ready to come on, so this will be a telling time for him to try and make a contribution in a Rangers shirt.
He is the one player who, you know, the anger that's been directed towards that particular signing at the money involved, £8 million rising to £10 million for someone who has scored 3 career goals. And Kevin Thelwell called to the stand over that one, of course, because it's a former Everton player where he used to work. So does fate have it in mind?
Never know, you need to start somewhere.
He comes on for JD Gassama. So Yusuf Chermiti on for JD Gassama.
So they're going 2 up top then, Majowski?
Looks like it.
Certainly seems to be the way.
Chance to be the hero.
Who goes to the wide area then?
Good question. Don't know, is it a reshuffle in formation potentially? We'll wait and see what Fraser Wishart has to say about that. Yusuf Chermiti did score during the international break, got a goal for Portugal's under-21s against Gibraltar's under-21s. However, Scotland's under-21s did put 12 goals past Gibraltar's under-21s and then drew 3-3 with Azerbaijan in the next game. So not maybe not the best gauge to see. But this will be a big gauge for him, these final 20 minutes or so.
As David and Roger and I know, this is now what newspapers love to call the emotional roller coaster, because the Rangers fans have been up, then down. Chermiti has done nothing, and now he's on, and the prospect exists of Chermiti becoming the instant hero.
Yeah, I don't think JD Gassama looks too happy about having come off the bench. Sorry, having gone on to the bench for Yusuf Chermiti, I should have said.
Yeah, well,
Asgard Wide left, and Chermiti looks as if he's maybe playing just in behind.
You don't want your substitutions, your subs to come off and go on the bench and have a big smile on their face.
Yeah, be happy.
Yeah, so a big moment for him. He could turn the Rangers fans round. I don't see a lot in him just now. I know it's early. I know he's not had a lot of game time. 8 to 10 million, big price tag for me.
Motherwell had the ball in the net, but a clear handball by Stamatolopoulos before it. So that one's not going to count, as Morton equalise against Ayr, and Cammy Ballantyne has the goal there.
Not been Bruni's week.
Why?
No. Well, after the Celtic.
Oh, the
set off.
Brian Graham has come on for Ross McKeever for Falkirk. Interested to see how that game goes in the final stages. Scott Arfield on for Miller as well.
Well, again, you think back to Russell Martin's last game. Falkirk score through Cartwright to make it 1-1 at the Falkirk Stadium, and they're preparing Russell Martin's P45. So they have it in them, Falkirk, to create upset.
I told you before half time, things were going too smoothly.
You did?
Rangers were cruising, Motherwell were cruising, St Mirren Aberdeen was tight, Hibs are cruising. There had to be drama, Hugh.
Standing ovation at Easter Road as Cleege and Bowie both come off. I wonder if a lot of that is directed towards Thibault Cleege, who Roger said had a fantastic game today. Boyle and Hoylett coming on.
It also sums up the exasperation that the Hibs fans have felt, because with the greatest respect, to be two up against Hibs is not really against Livingston is not really the stuff of standing ovations, but they've had that awful run of 5 draws, 1 defeat, and now today
Stop you there, Hugh.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Rangers 1, Dundee United 2, and it's Craig Sibbald with the goal. It is a great strike from 25 yards high into the right top corner, and things have turned on their head at Ibrox, and I think the atmosphere is going to turn at Ibrox as well. Rangers had the lead, now 2-1 down at home to Dundee United.
Draws a disaster, defeats a catastrophe. They are staring catastrophe in the face, because this gives Hearts an almighty incentive in Ayrshire. 5:45 kickoff. Hearts are 11 points ahead of Rangers. They have an opportunity to go 14 points ahead of Rangers if the scoreline at Ibrox should turn out to be the end result.
If it stays that, who are they going to blame here? And there's reports coming in that Russell Martin jumped off his settee celebrating that goal. That's what I'm saying. People get carried away with this. It's all Russell Martin. The players have had behind this manager since day one.
Yeah.
It's been the easy excuse for them. All of a sudden, nobody to hide behind. The banners have said it. Nobody behind. The supporters are saying it. I'll tell you what, character, let's see the character they've got now, because they need a big finish.
That's what I said in the first half. Even at 1-0, you're thinking, what is, 7 players were Russell Martin's players that came in, and then they're 1-0 up and they look comfortable in the game. They're quite dominant in that first half, but it's went back to type. It's went back to type when it gets down to the nitty gritty and there's a little bit of tension in the game. Dundee United get back into, all of a sudden they're winning 2-1 again. The players have to have a look at themselves, 100%.
The show of character from the Dundee United players has been immense, because they've had to withstand all of the optimism surging through Ibrox.
And he took his top striker off at half time as well, changed it about a little bit, and now they're 2-1 up.
Yeah, it was a really good strike by Craig Sibbald, left footed into the top corner. and Rangers have it all to do in the final 15 minutes or so at Ibrox.
Rangers don't need one goal, they need two.
Yeah.
They need to win this match. So Dundee United score after 75 minutes, Craig Sibbald. 15 going on 20 minutes of utmost importance to Rangers now.
Yeah, it's a big task for him, Hugh, I've got to say. There's so much positive. You were listening to Fraser talking about round about him with supporters, players, the way they played. I look at this team and they do not excite me as a team. They really don't. Individually, I think there's a lot of players there need to perform better and prove they can play at a club the size of Rangers.
Give me the psyche behind it all. I mean, you're one up, the crowd are loving it. You come out the second half.
There's fragile, Hugh, that you've shown that not just this season, there's a fragile, I keep going on, mentality. 1-0, yeah, you've started the game well, you've got the goal, it's a great finish by the lad Asgard, but the longer it goes and the second goal doesn't come, then you start to get concerned a wee bit. Dundee United, full credit to them to turn it totally around in this second half.
Yeah, I think that's what's missing. We don't give Dundee United enough credit.
Yeah.
Jim made a big substitution. You're thinking you've taken off your goal scorer, and all of a sudden 70 odd minutes in the clock, he's turned it round full circle. But there's still a bit to go, but you just wonder, the fans will be restless, and you just wonder, can the players stand up to that?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Who saw this coming after the first half? Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2 is a Scott Arfield volley. A great finish across, and the ball knocked into his path, I think by Brian Graham. First time volley from Scott Arfield, who's come off the bench and put Falkirk 2-1 ahead at Fir Park after Motherwell looked fantastic in the opening 45 minutes.
Nothing short of incredible.
Who said a funny old game? The two senior boys come off the bench to make the goal and score the goal, and
I think Falkirk are stick on to stay up. I don't think they'll be in any trouble. They've got guys there that can score goals. I've had a real bad afternoon up. Apart from my initial Rangers Dundee United, but I hate MD scoring against Motherwell, but
you did say there was drama to follow from that first half.
Yeah, we were getting it too easy. It was too comfortable an afternoon.
There's a slight delay from the referee after that one, but the goal stands. It has been given. And all of a sudden, Motherwell now need to do something if they want to get anything out of that game at Fir Park.
It's incredible. Went to Celtic Park and very nearly beat Celtic, but for a horrendous mistake by the goalkeeper to give Celtic an equaliser, and then Dyson Maida took over. But as I said in the first half, they were giving Falkirk what we describe as a doing, and now they're on the receiving end of a going over.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Rangers can show a bit of character here, get back into this game. I agree with you, Hugh, even 2-2.
2-2 still.
Yeah, and you're looking at Hearts have got a difficult game, of course I have this afternoon, but tonight. But you fancy Celtic, so only tomorrow. This league will be a little bit, because I can't see that team winning 5-6 games in a row. I really don't.
Even when Kevin Muscat gets here.
Listen, you could put Broxy Bear in the dugout. They're not going to win 5-6 games in a row, because I don't think they're good enough. I think there's a lot of signing there that are poor.
Red card for St Mirren. Jayden Richardson has been sent off following a VAR review. 7 minutes to go in Paisley. It's goalless, but that will give Aberdeen an advantage going into the final few minutes of the match.
But when the only thing you hear about from the match is a red card, but it's been remarkably short on incident.
There was that Alex Gogic goal that had been ruled out for a foul, I think it was. But yeah, still goalless between those two teams in Paisley. And I wonder if there is going to be late drama. There's potential for late drama in a few of our games, isn't there?
How many people have got the Who Am I?
Me, Sid.
It's a good question. I think we do. I think we do have a podium.
Yeah.
So I think people have been doing better than they were when it came to the first half teaser. Just looking to see if there are any other wrong answers or answers. Sean Devine says Momo Silla.
No. No to Momo.
Nicola Ellison goes for Stephen Pearson.
No.
I see a few correct answers in there. P has gone for Stephen Caldwell.
No.
Sean has gone for Derek Young.
No.
And Mark has gone for Kelvin Wilson.
Kelvin Wilson.
Remember him? Celtic, Nottingham Forest.
That's come back a bit.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
He played at the weekend.
Does he? I like him, good lad. I met him down when I was down at Forest.
Yeah, he played.
Brilliant lad.
Oh, one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
No late drama at Easter Road. The game is wrapped up. Hibs 3, Livingston 0. A deep cross from Chris Cadden drifted to Junior Hoylett, who scored at the back post. 3 points that will be well received by David Gray.
Yeah, Junior Hoylett, the South African.
Oh no, you said during the week he was Jamaican. That was your guess.
Because he played against Ivory Coast, I remember a game. You says he's Canadian, he's
Just
never
a
a
load
Canadian.
of nonsense.
I know.
He is Canadian. There are going to be changes for Rangers. Asgard, Antman and Rothwell come off. Curtis Moore and Barron come on. Good stat from David Friel about when Scott Arfield's last top flight goal for Falkirk was.
Oh, that would be long time ago.
15 years ago.
May 2010.
15 years ago.
15 years ago, well done, Hugh.
Well done, Hugh.
Against St Mirren
And you
in a 1-0
didn't
draw.
even use Google the way David used
Exactly.
it.
I didn't even know what Google is.
Exactly. We can all be smart with our phones sitting next to us, looking that one up.
If you're going to come out of a bad run, 3-0 at home is the way to do it. So Hibs have had a real good afternoon.
There's a perfect example, right? They've substituted Asgard, who apparently was brilliant in the first half.
Yeah.
So if he's that good to do it for 90 plus minutes when you're losing the game, it tells you his second half performance. They've substituted him.
And that's what you're saying. You mentioned there 5 or 6 games to get. They're struggling to put 90 minutes together at the moment. I mean, that first half, you would think the dominance of it, they would build on it. You certainly didn't see the turnaround coming.
Is Finlay Curtis still a teenager?
Yeah, I believe so.
So
yep.
you brought
sure
on,
he is 19, is he?
You brought on Mikey Moore and Finlay Curtis, 2 teenagers to try and get you off the hook here.
Yeah, 19. But I suppose when you look at Rangers' squad,
yeah,
it's probably what they've got available in attacking areas to bring on.
I think Finlay Curtis is their best bet of a goal.
Yeah,
he's done it.
He gives him a bit of energy, a bit lively. I
Did
like
it
that
against St Mirren. There were a goal down at St Mirren and toiling. Finlay Curtis got the goal there.
Yusuf Chermiti had a chance. It was a header that took a slight touch off of Esselink. I think he tried to get that ball directed goalwards, but Esselink's touch took the ball wide and out for a Rangers corner. That didn't come to anything.
Well, Rangers desperately need an equaliser very, very quickly because, as I say, 2 goals is the main requirement here. 2 goals for Rangers, and they need an equaliser very, very soon.
That could be a late winner in the Championship for Ayr United. They've gone 2-1 up against Morton. 87 minutes on the clock. Ben Dempsey could have wrapped up 3 points for Scott Brown's side.
Yeah, so well needed 3 points indeed. Good time to score a winner. I don't know if Morton will come back from that. But you're just looking, all eyes are firmly fixed on Ibrox to see if Rangers can get back into this. Started off so promising, but once again it's failed to deliver, and it'll be interesting to see what the Rangers fans now say in the open line, because
regarding the manager,
there's no Russell Martin to blame.
No, but
the focus is on the players.
We talked at the start of the show about differences of winning games, and there's getting beat here, talking about Muscat and when he has to. I mean, does that just.
I'm going to throw one out there. I don't think Russell Martin would have lost today. I thought he'd have got a draw.
You see the late drama there in the English Premier League,
Yeah,
Hugh.
Brighton
Brighton have got themselves back ahead of Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's good news for you and your
Great
Seagulls.
result,
Yeah, I'm just hoping that Mitoma scored the goal. That's my grandson's favourite player. I'm hoping he got it, but I don't know who got it.
Ryan Strain is the latest to come on at Ibrox for Nico Chevet. 85 minutes gone or so on the clock. Rangers will need to get a move on if they want to get any goals or anything from this game. It was Danny Welbeck who got the goal.
A double for Danny.
Goal at Ibrox.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Rangers 2, Dundee United 2. Rangers have an equaliser and it's James Tavernier who pops up with a big moment for Rangers once again. So there is still 3 minutes or so to go of the 90 plus injury time. Rangers back level. Will there be a winner at Ibrox? He drove the ball home from 16 yards after good work from Findlay Curtis on the right.
Well, there you are. I'll go now. Rangers will win 3-2.
I don't think they will, no. But I'll tell you one thing, a guy that's come in for so much criticism over the years, James Tavernier, he seems to just pop up at vital times for him, doesn't he?
Yep.
You know, that's massive. I know that Rangers fans will not be happy if it stays 2-2. Of course they wouldn't. But for Tavernier to pop up and get the goal, maybe take a little bit of heat with it, just off him, getting a draw here.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think it was a nice finish by James Tavernier at the near post. The ball cut back to him, and as you'd expect, the Rangers players were straight back to the centre circle. They want to try and win this game.
The next important development is how many minutes are added on. I think momentum is with them. I think they'll win 3-2 now.
7 minutes in Paisley, where it is goalless, and Aberdeen have a man advantage after Jayden Richardson's red card. So potential for late drama there, potential for late drama at Ibrox, potential for late drama between Motherwell and Falkirk, because there's only one goal in it. Falkirk leading 2-1 after being 1 goal down. The only game that is wrapped up is Hibs 3, Livingston 0.
How many minutes added on at Ibrox we got that?
I'm not sure we know that yet. I'm not sure we've got to the 90th minute. But in case there is late drama, Hugh, let's do this.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have been managed by Dario O'Grady and Colin Calderwood. I have played alongside Wes Morgan, Chris Commons and Russell Martin. I also played with Rab Douglas at 2 different clubs. I am Neil Lennon.
Neil Lennon. Did you get that one?
Yeah. Crewe, Leicester, Rab Douglas.
What was the connection? I got it, but what was the connection? The 2 teams with Rab Douglas?
Leicester and Celtic. Was it?
Yeah, yes. It was. On the podium for that, third place was Michael Donati, second place was Chrissy Lewis, but faster than everyone, Brian Hockey, who is top of that podium. It is 89 minutes gone at Ibrox, so we will find out what the injury time is, although Jack Butland did have to make a big save from Trapanovsky, so the game is not over at either end. There could be a winner for either of the sides at Ibrox.
You stand on me. 3-2 Rangers.
I would like to stand on you, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. I'm just a bit disappointed. I never went with my gut feeling at 3 o'clock today.
You said to draw, and then you bailed. You bottled it.
Yeah,
it's not a draw yet.
It's a draw.
7 minutes added at Fir Park as well. We are going deep into injury time in certainly 2 of the games.
Well, you can put the kettle on for 7 minutes at Ibrox as well then. With a day of VAR and lengthy time added on and what have you. But
right, so Hugh's put his neck in the line. He says it's going to be 3-2 to Rangers. What about the 2 of you? You going for any late drama at Ibrox?
The way this game has went, anything could happen, but I'm going to go to each. I don't think another goal.
No drama at all. I think the result's in.
There is a Motherwell free kick chance in injury time. They're looking to get back on level terms with Falkirk. Would be a big win for Falkirk. 6 minutes added at Ibrox. Not quite the 7 you said, Hugh. 6 minutes to go.
60 seconds out. That's good for me. I was 75 minutes out with Ange Postecoglou's sacking.
So you're getting closer with your predictions anyway.
Having predicted Ange to be out, I'm predicting a third goal for Rangers. There you are.
We will see. It will be Elliot Watt to take that free kick for Motherwell late in the game to see if they can get anything, but that one's gone over the bar.
What a fascinating day it's been altogether. And St Mirren Aberdeen, I tipped that for a draw. That looks as it coming through.
It's the only one that's really disappointed, eh?
St Mirren Aberdeen. Well, it's still 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
You think that's a little bit unfair in the public at St Mirren?
We did say it would be tight.
Yeah, Aberdeen I think have been the better side, especially St Mirren getting a player sent off a bit later on. Aberdeen have started to shade things or look better, but no goals for them, no goals for St Mirren. That game between Arbroath and St Johnstone is finished 3-1 to Arbroath, so that is a big win. We have another one of these in the Premiership.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
But it's not going to count as late drama because it's another Hibs goal. They are 4-0 up against Livingston. Junior Hoylett again, a rebound after a Chris Cadden shot. So it was 1-0 at half time, 4-0 into injury time. What a result that is for Hibs.
Yeah, great result. I had my cans off there, Hugh, because I couldn't bear it if Rangers had scored to listen to you. I was ready to leave the building.
I'll not only tell you, I'll tell you who'll score the goal.
Oh,
who's going further?
Chermetti.
Finlay Curtis.
Just the more detail you give just makes your prediction seem worse if it goes wrong. I like that. I don't mind it.
No.
Just being bold.
I don't have time to mess about.
Well, that's true.
I tell you why, Hugh. Oh no, wait, I was going to say, actually, you all predicted Motherwell to beat Falkirk, so none of you are getting the ACCA up today.
No. Come on, Motherwell. Still time.
Yeah, still time to get an equaliser potentially. I can't see them turning it around.
Against Aberdeen. 90 odd minutes, 2 goals.
Yeah.
Come on. Still believe.
You've got faith.
I've got faith that, honestly, the window could get opened again.
Yeah, I wonder if it will be that Hibs game that could wrap up first out of all of the matches. But there will be no lack of talking points on the open line, Hugh.
Yeah, I mean, you go straight back to the main talking point of the day. How would Rangers minus Russell Martin do? And it has been a roller coaster.
Stop you there.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hugh has his hands in the air. St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 1. A goal in Paisley, and Aberdeen have a late winner. 96 minutes on the clock. There were 7 minutes added there, and that is going to be a big win for Jimmy Tillene and his men. And it is Marko Lazic who has the goal, who hadn't really been starting too much in the opening stages of the season, put in a good performance against Shakhtar Donetsk, and has built on that with a big goal. Aberdeen 1-0 up against St Mirren in Paisley, and that game is just about to finish.
And that is the goal that takes Aberdeen off the foot of the table and puts Dundee to the foot of the table before they play Celtic at high noon tomorrow. So Jimmy Tillene, he must have been sweating on that one, because after the 4-0 win over Dundee, read Kevin Nisbet in the papers during the week saying that's it, the goals will come now for Aberdeen. No, they didn't, but one was all that was needed.
Aberdeen above Livingston as well. Actually, Livingston who dropped to the foot of the table, they go below Dundee on goal difference because they're 4-0 down to Hibs. So Aberdeen would be up to 10th, Dundee 11th, Livingston down to 12th. Not a good day for David Martindale and Marvin Bartley.
Well, that's my Tuesday night taken care of. Livy sitting proudly down the bottom of the table and on the show with Big Marv. That's 2 hours of fun.
Ryan Christie thought he'd won the game for Bournemouth at Crystal Palace, and Palace have now made it 3-3.
What a game.
Hat-trick for the big Frenchman.
Jean-Philippe Mateta. Yep. So there was a bit of drama between him and Wilfried Zaha during the week. I think Mateta had gone on international duty and basically said that Zaha had said he'd never play for France, and laughed at him, and Zaha's hit back at him. Anyway, let's get to the real action. What is happening in Scotland? 1 minute left of stoppage time at Ibrox, but because there has been a few stoppages within that time, it is a minimum. There has been a couple of substitutions, so it may go beyond that 6 minutes added time
before Finlay Curtis scores.
Yeah,
still hanging on to it, Daz.
There's absolutely no chance. Listen, the minute you said that, you know it's not happening. So that's the one thing you rule out.
It is the kiss of death, isn't it, from Hugh Keevins?
It's not finished yet.
It's not happening, Chug.
That is true. By the way, that Marko Lazic goal is fantastic for Aberdeen. He gets down to the touchline, he's got a player there, and he spins and knocks the ball round the player, goes round the other side. I think it's through his legs actually, and then he's at a tight angle and scores. That is a brilliant goal. So that is the one that is going to win Aberdeen that game, surely. It is full time at Fir Park. David Friel.
Full time, Andrew. Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2. What a game, what a second half. Scott Arfield showed he's still got it. A dramatic late winner for Falkirk. 36-year-old come off the bench to grab his first top flight goal for the Bairns in 15 years. Incredible stat, and it capped an incredible comeback for John McGlynn's side, who were lucky just to be 1-0 down at the break. Calvin Miller equalised. Arfield then won it just 5 minutes after coming off the bench. Motherwell should have been out of sight in the first half, but credit to Falkirk for the way they battled back to win it. Ibrahim Said was outstanding. He had a goal disallowed for Motherwell in 17 minutes. However, 6 minutes later, Motherwell did take the lead. Said again involved. He found Lucas Verdinga, who found Tawanda Maswanisi, and he curled a superb left-footed shot into the top corner from 16 yards. Motherwell should have been at least 2-0 ahead at the break, but they were way so in front of the goal, and it came back to haunt them. Falkirk stayed in the game. Credit to John McGlynn and his players were a lot better in the second half, and they got equaliser in 57 minutes. Deep cross into the box. Ross McKeever cushioned it down, and Calvin Miller timed his run perfectly to place a finish under Callum Ward. It was almost 2-1 to Falkirk moments later. Falkirk stole the ball off Motherwell. Dylan Tate picked out McKeever, but he was denied by Callum Ward. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos come off the bench. He was lively. He was denied by Scott Bain. At the end of the goal, disallowed for handball, but then came the dramatic winner in 79 minutes. Brian Graham and Scott Arfield were both introduced on the bench in 74 minutes, and just 5 minutes later they both combined to find the winner. Cross came into the box. Graham went up for it. It fell back to Arfield, as he's done so often in his career. First time volley into the bottom corner. Incredible win for Falkirk. They're taking the acclaim of their fans down there. For Motherwell, a lot of questions after that impressive first half. Full time, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2.
It's also full time at Ibrox. Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, it's Rangers 2, Dundee United 2. I think the Rangers fans will have trouble describing this game. It's perhaps a game that's symptomatic of their season. They were really good for 60 minutes. The fans excited, plenty of chances, especially in the first half. But for all that good work, they only had the one goal from Telo Asgard, a brilliant goal, and they couldn't get that second. They then lost a grip of the game just about the hour mark. Lost 2 goals to Dundee United, but just as it looks like they're going to lose the game, skipper James Tavernier, who else has seen him do it so often, grabbed a point for his team late on. And at the end of the game, I think fans didn't know whether to boo or cheer, because it was such a good performance for a long period of the game. But they completely dominated the first half. 18 shots on goal tells the story, but only 1 goal, as I said, to show. And what a wonderful individual goal it was. It was Gassama who just slipped the ball inside to Ashgard, just inside the Dundee United half. He drove from halfway into the box on the left hand side, cut inside past 2 defenders, and curled a shot with pace high into top left hand corner. Kucherenko, absolutely no chance. Ashgard was outstanding. He had 2 other really good efforts. A goal from 18 yards that was beaten away by Kucherenko, also tipped a deflected shot over, but they just couldn't get that second goal. United hardly in it. 1 shot from Dolcek after 9 minutes, about a yard wide, was their only chance. The second half started, Rangers again on the front foot. Antman, Gassama, Rothwell in good positions inside the penalty box, couldn't get their shots away. Then all of a sudden the tempo just dropped. A few injury stoppages, I think it disrupted Rangers' flow, and United began to have a spell of pressure in the box. Suter defended really well in front of his own goal to scramble a couple of crosses away, and you just had a feeling something was coming as United began to grow in belief. In 66 minutes, the equaliser, Zach Sapsford broke in behind on the right hand side. There was a touch of offside to it, but VR checked it and it wasn't. His low cross right across all of the defenders, eventually to Christian Trapanovsky, who was literally just on the pitch. He took 2 touches and fired low into the corner of the right hand side. Jack Button got his hand to the ball. The mood in the stadium changed. It was very quiet. Steve Smith brought on Chermeti for Gassama. Asgard wide left, Chermeti into number 10. But in 75 minutes it was 2-1 to United. Sybil put a lovely pass through to Safford, who's through on goal. Really good save by Butland. He rushed out through his goal to block the shot, but the ball from Butland fell to Sibbald again, who was following up 25 yards, and he killed a 25-yard shot high into top right hand corner. Again, an excellent goal. The atmosphere had really changed. Fans on top of the players for every mistake. It wasn't the case in the first half. Steve Smith brought on Moore, Curtis and Barron, Antman, Rothwell, and surprisingly Asgard came off. Chermiti headed the ball, it touched off Hesselink just to take the ball an inch wide, but no real threat to the Kucherenko goal until they equalised with 3 minutes to go. Conor Barron with the ball over the top. It was actually Mikey Moore on the right hand side, did really well, showed real strength to get the ball under control, under pressure from a defender. He laid the ball back to Tavernier, who drove the ball home from 16 yards. But just as Rangers were looking for the winner, they could have lost it, and United almost got a goal with Trapanovsky again on the left hand side, plenty of space, could get a touch and fired his shot high towards the right hand corner. A really big save by Jack Button, excellent save by the goalkeeper. And then in the last seconds of stoppage time, Kamara lashed a shot from inside the box, just inches wide. Better sides for Rangers in attack, but still losing soft goals and not won a league game at home this season. For United, I think Jim Goodwin will be delighted at the belief his team showed to get back into the game. Full time at Ibrox, Rangers 2, Dundee United 2.
It's also full time at Easter Road. Roger Hannah.
It is Hibernian 4, Livingston 0. A one-sided win for David Gray's side, takes him to 3rd place in the Premiership's ends a 6-game winless run and leaves Davy Martindale's Livingston bottom of the table tonight. Hibs went ahead after 9 minutes. Daniel Barlasser playing the ball through to the £1 million summer signing Thibault Clegy on the right side of the box. He bust through a weak challenge and lashed a right foot shot high past the Livingston goalkeeper Jerome Preoff for 1-0. Hibs dominated from then on in. There was a couple of chances that Clegy really should have had on target. He also teed up both Kieran Bowie and Nicky Cadden for opportunities in the first half. And then in 52 minutes he won the penalty, really put the game beyond Livy. Right hand side of the box, he got away from half time substitute Christian Montano. He was tripped by Montano. Referee Ryan Lee correctly pointing to the penalty spot, and Jamie McGrath easily knocking the ball past Prior, who went the wrong way for 2-0. Grant Hanley then had a header cleared off the line for Stevie May. As Hibs went for it, they took off Clegy and Bowie and sent on Martin Boylan Jr. Hoylett for the last 20 minutes, and Hoylett got a double near the end. It really finished it at first for the Canadian international. A glancing header from Chris Cadden's perfect cross from the right after 79 minutes, and then on 89 Chris Cadden again the threat. His first shot was blocked, the ball fell back to him, he kept his composure, he teed up Hoylett for a finish high into the net for 4-0. It could have been more. Martin Boylan a shot blocked in stoppage time. This really was domination from David Gray's side as they emerged from the autumn slump in style, and Thibault Clegy showed why. They paid £1 million for him. Final score at Easter Road, Hibs 4, Livy 0.
And the final game in the Premiership at 3 o'clock finished St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 1. All the drama happened late in that game. Jayden Richardson sent off with just 9 minutes to go. 7 minutes were added in stoppage time, and Marko Lazetic scoring the winner. What a goal it was as well. Ante Palaversa playing him down to the byline. He then took a touch, turned, put it through the defender's legs, was at a tight angle and managed to rifle that one past Shamal George and get Aberdeen a vital 3 points. That is the 3 o'clock action over, and now it is over to you. 0141 951 1025. We are here taking your calls until 6 o'clock. We'll hear from you next.
Ever wondered what power is? Power is transforming the sun into your own energy source. Power is getting energy companies to pay you. Power is enjoying your morning coffee, knowing you created the energy to make it. Well, you and the colossal ball of fire in the sky. Because with solar panels from Hive, the sun works for you. Hive, know your power. May not cover all electricity usage, roof and weather dependent. Paid for surplus requires eligible SEG tariff. Ever wondered what power is? Power is transforming the sun into your own energy source. Power is getting energy companies to pay you. Power is enjoying your morning coffee, knowing you created the energy to make it. Well, you and the colossal ball of fire in the sky. Because with solar panels from Hive, the sun works for you. Hive, know your power. May not cover all electricity usage, roof and weather dependent. Paid for surplus requires eligible SEG tariff.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
A Rayo original podcast. I'm Katherine Ryan, back for season 2 of my podcast, What's My Age Again?
Are you ready? I'm ready.
Join my celebrity guests as they take the test to find out the difference between their biological and chronological ages.
No way!
With guests including G.K. Barry, Jamila Jamil, Natalie Cassidy, Alan Davis, Tim Spector, and Sarah Pascoe. What's My Age Again? Find it on the Rayo app, Apple, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, with bonus episodes every week.
Super Scoreboard's Open Line.
What a day of Scottish Premiership action, and now it is over to you. 0141 951 1025. The big talking point is that Rangers begin life without Russell Martin with a 2-2 draw against Dundee United. Rangers fans, there were some good bits, there were some bad bits. What do you take away from it? What has changed? What has not changed since Russell Martin's departure? 0141 951 1025. Hibs with an emphatic 4-0 win against Livingston. Motherwell looked to be all over Falkirk at Fir Park, however, ended up losing 2-1, and it was a late winner for Aberdeen over St Mirren. 0141 951 1025. Gordon Dalziel, Simon Donnelly, Hugh Keevins taking your calls until 6 o'clock. Hugh, before we go to the phones, what stands out for you?
Well, obviously, Rangers' performance, Jekyll and Hyde performance, good first half, poor second half. The old James Tavernier, big time for even getting them 1 point out of the day. Now the incentive lies with Hearts. Hearts can go 13 points clear of Rangers tonight. 13 points clear. If Celtic win in Dundee tomorrow, they can go 11 points clear. A double-digit lead over Rangers for Hearts and for Celtic. So those who feared that the league season had already gone for Rangers would have that view reinforced. Not a good day for Rangers. They don't have Russell Martin to blame. The callers now, who do you blame?
Yeah, well, Scottish football sends shockwaves across the world. Stuart is our first caller from Auckland in New Zealand. Stuart, how are you?
Hi, good, thank you. Thank you for taking my call, Panel.
No problem. What are you thinking after today's performance?
Oh, I think the result today is I think it actually reflects the board. I think it reflects the decision of the management and what's been happening.
Stop talking so loud.
Yeah, when you look at the performance today, certainly it seemed as if the first half was a lot better than what Rangers fans had seen. But then there will be the questions over that second half. The questions will be over the mentality of the players, the quality of the players, the recruitment. The scattergun maybe does come out at this point, because previously there was a sole focus really on where that anger was directed. Rangers then come out, don't get another win today. Russell Martin isn't there to blame. Stuart, is blaming the owners, 49ers Enterprises, Andrew Kavanagh and all this.
In my opinion just now, as a club, I think Rangers are an absolute shambles. They're all over the place. You look at them today, everything was based on Russell Martin being away wasn't good enough, and I do agree with that. The fans wanted him out and eventually got him out, and then the spotlight went on the players, and for 45 minutes they rose to that occasion. Could they have 90 minutes in them? It showed this afternoon they couldn't, and I think probably on listening to the second half, I think they're a bit lucky to get the 2-2. Tavernier bails them out once again. It tells me that people saying, new manager coming in getting a tune out of these players, it needs to be some manager. I think some of the recruitment is dreadful, if I'm honest with you. I don't see any character in their team. Once again, Tavernier bails them out. They can't finish a game off 1-0, dominating in the first half. Can't get that too. Dundee United come out, make changes, cause Rangers so many problems. I'm sorry, and then we're now get the situation that Rangers fans are going home tonight and thinking, right, when is the new manager coming in? Nothing's in place with this club just now. Since the 49ers come in, there was massive hope for this club and the supporters, rightly so. They've been through so many bad times. It just looks like it's went back to square one.
Stuart in Auckland has a point to an extent, that there is residual blame here, which lies at the doorstep of 49ers Enterprises, because all of what is happening now stems from the wrong appointment being made in terms of the head coach. Russell Martin came in and points have been dropped to the extent that Rangers sit tonight with the possibility, and the underlying possibility, that Hearts could be 13 points ahead of them by 8 o'clock tonight, and Celtic could be 11 points ahead of them by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Stuart, does it maybe raise concerns about this potential interim period that is coming up for Rangers? If Kevin Muscat isn't going to start until the end of November, Rangers will have several weeks where the players will be in limbo. If today's performance or result is anything to go by, is that a concern for you?
I mean, obviously there's no blame on Stevie Smith for the result today, but I think the whole San Francisco 49ers and the appointment of Russell Martin, it's been a disaster, and it's and even after he's gone, it's the kind of effect of that is still coming, and until Muscat comes in, there's going to be no progression at all. So I know they have to wait till he comes in, but I think he has to come. He has to come in.
Do you know what I think their worst appointment's been so far? So far, just now today, Kevin Fowler. He's come in, he's made decisions, and the decisions have went from bad to worse. They brought in 13 players recruitment. They brought a guy that come on today, 8 to 10 million. Everybody must be wondering, how is that value for money right now? He looks at, and he was a big part of backing Russell Martin until that ship sailed. So, a new manager coming in there, for me, you've still got the problem in the building.
Yeah, the third question that I posed at 2 o'clock today, Andrew, was Russell Martin a bad coach in charge of bad players? And that's the fear for Rangers, that he was a bad coach in charge of bad players who now become Kevin Muscat's problem.
Well, thank you to Stuart. What about James, who's a Rangers fan? And Irvin, James, what are you taking away from today's result?
How are we doing, panel? Just left Ibrox now, and today, Hugh, you're absolutely wrong. This is Russell Martin's anti-football. That's what's to blame for today. Same story all season. It's been one half been good, other half been absolutely rank rotten.
So you want to blame a man who wasn't there?
No, you're saying it was not his fault. This is a remnant of what he's done to that team. He's made them anti-football.
But surely it's up to them, minus Russell Martin. Surely it's up to those players to perform.
You can't change that overnight. It's very well you know.
It's not been overnight though, James, has it? It's been 2 weeks since Russell Martin left. Stevie Smith has been on the training ground for 2 weeks. I accept that, quite a few players have been away on international duty. Is that not enough time for him to get his ideas across and able to change things? Which, in fairness, it did actually look as if things had maybe changed in the first half, but then fell away.
You cannot come on here and blame Russell Martin for today, right? Fraser spoke about how good Rangers were in the first half. So what happens is they get in the dressing room and they think, well, we worked under Russell Martin for a few months, we're going to go out and play bad in the second half, we're not going to do that.
Could it be a subconscious thing reverting nonsense to old habits now?
That is giving the players so much leeway and excuse. What, the players have no responsibility for this? That is shocking.
It's not referring to old habits as such. I used the word fragile earlier on. It's getting to that stage of a game where confidence isn't high. Yeah, they've performed okay for 45 minutes, but they're only 1-0 ahead. And the longer that game goes, the pressure intensifies. You're playing in front of your own fans. You know nothing less than a win is good enough. And old, they refer to type a wee bit, but the players at some point, you can say Russell Martin because he was obviously involved in the recruitment of these players, but these players at the moment are showing that they're nowhere near good enough.
Stuart, sorry James, do the players need to take responsibility for today?
100%, the players need to take some responsibility, but you've trained the players in a set style of play for whatever 3-4 months when he was here, and then you expect that just to change overnight. That can't happen.
Hold on, everybody was saying the first half Ashgar scored a brilliant goal, was absolutely great. People are going, hold on, people were saying, the shackles are off, Russell Martin's away, but it doesn't go well for him in the second half. It's Russell Martin's fault again. This guy can't get a celebrate, can he? He's out of the club. The players have got to take responsibility.
Simon talks about fragility. Kevin Muscat has now not only got to be a master tactician, he's got to be a psychologist as well, because there is fragility. Second half, they couldn't live with the pressure they were under. And but for Jack Butland and another terrific save, they might have lost 3-2. So, like Gordon, I'm reluctant to say, this is what you get because you appointed Russell Martin. I think that these players have an undoubted fragility which they've demonstrated all season long. Remember, this is a team who lost 9-1 on aggregate to Club Brugge in the Europa League, and Kevin Muscat has to find out if they're too fragile and need replaced by stronger mentality.
James, does it concern you going forward that the players were unable to see that game out today after what seemed to be an impressive first half?
It's massively concerning because the players, when they go 1-0 up, they don't have the bottle to go and get the second, the third, the fourth goal to kill a game. It's like they went 1-0 up and they become afraid. They're afraid to go more direct and get that next goal that gives you that cushion. And you could tell a mile away in the second half, it was two different teams. They went negative back to all the way back, front to back, constant. It was absolutely abysmal in the second half. Yes, the players have to take responsibility, but when you've been coached for 3-4 months in a set system, that also comes back to bite you as well.
Well, thank you to James. What about Ross, who's a Rangers fan in Airdrie? Ross, do you agree or disagree?
Hi, panel. Sorry, I just missed you there. I agree with what?
Just, and James was saying there that he feels that some of the blame has to go on to Russell Martin because he is the one that has coached these players.
Well, absolutely. My statement from day one is Russell Martin was a major part of the problem, but he wasn't the sole problem.
So you feel the players are the ones that need to take responsibility for that today? Does it concern you going forward that Rangers, after, people talking about the shackles being off from Russell Martin, does it concern you that the next game is a draw at home to Dundee United?
I think the responsibility needs to go down, from the top down. That the players, of course, need to take a level of responsibility. The first half they played absolutely fantastic. I don't know what happened the second half, but it just shows you the problem at Rangers just now, which is what worries me.
What is the problem? Can you define the problem?
Well, I think, in my opinion anyway, so we've got rid of one part of the problem. There's two other significant figures at that club, which I think should have went at the same time as Russell Martin did.
Well, the players who are left behind, though, Ross, are your players until January, until this window opens. So they are going to have to get Rangers through.
And beyond January as well. It's not as if there's going to be wholesale changes in January.
No, there will have to be change of sort.
The other thing I would say to that, Hugh, is like if Muscat comes in, and to be honest, if he was watching that second half of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if he said absolutely no chance. But if Muscat comes in, you would think, right, you'll need to kind of get rid of some people. He can maybe bring his own people in. But is he going to be given the responsibility to do that? Because I don't believe that Russell Martin had a say on any of the players that were brought in, and I don't believe that under the current hierarchy, I don't think Muscat or whoever else comes in will have the say either.
Well, they'll have to. I mean, Kevin Muscat will have to mastermind what is to follow in January when there's access to the transfer window, because clearly these players brought in at very high cost are not up to the task.
I agree. I agree with the caller. I don't think Russell Martin had a lot to say. You're not telling me he looked at a £8 to £10 million striker and thought he's the guy for me. When he came into the building, he didn't play him. So what does that tell you? If you want a player and you're saying to the board, he's a terrific player, pay whatever it has to be, get him in. You play him every game. You start him. He's your number one striker. But he didn't do that. Listen, I totally agree with Ross, right? I think there are bigger problems, and I do think it lies above.
Well, thank you to Ross. 01419511025. We'll take more of your calls next.
Save £788 on the epic Samsung Galaxy S25 on EE. Talk it out live with Gemini. Just point your camera and ask away.
Like how to make this pie vegan?
You betcha.
Or what colour paint will match my sofa?
In an instant.
Too easy.
Plus, you'll get stay-connected data because powerful AI deserves the UK's best network. Offer ends 24th November.
Savings across contract and device. Terms and credit check apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitzall Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Owen built this business from scratch. Now it's all in the cloud. His ideas, his data, his future, which is fine. Until someone clicks on a link they shouldn't. BT Complete Cloud Secure protects your business online. It filters harmful sites and blocks malware from just £3.30 per user per month, keeping Owen's business data, well, Owen's. Cybersecurity is everyone's business. Search BT Business Cybersecurity. T's and C's apply. Prices exclude VAT at 20%. 12-month minimum term applies.
Dear Scousers, I don't like the word hate, but it's fair to say there's no love lost between us. As a lifelong United fan, I realised that this game would be nothing without the two of us. Truth is, no greater love exists between two rivals. We need each other. So, before we play again, I'll leave you with this. The only thing I can't stand more than you is the game without you. See you on Sunday. Love, Fred. Boss a bet, Fred.
18 plus gambleaware.org.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line 0141 951 1025.
Already a busy evening on the phones on Clyde One Super Scoreboard, so keep those calls coming in. 0141 951 1025. We are here taking your calls until 6 o'clock. We are also on a live stream as well, so you can get that online if you prefer viewing things. Right, let's speak to David, who's a Rangers fan in Paisley. David, what was your main takeaway from the game at Ibrox today?
Yes, good evening. First half, I've got to be honest, I was very heartened with what I saw. The movement off the ball, the movement with the ball, etc. And probably after about 60 minutes, very angry, very frustrated from 60 minutes onwards. And I think the lack of experience in the dugout today probably cost Rangers the game, and that's on the board, and nothing on Stevie Smith whatsoever. But I just felt the lack of experience, because it was very obvious after about 60 minutes that we were basically falling back into the Russell Martin routine, and you could see it in the players. Touching on, Hugh said something about Jack Butland. I've got to be honest, Jack Butland is a bang average goalkeeper who gets away with murder in a Rangers jersey. I'm sitting directly behind him in the Copeland Road stand, and he's as slow as a week in the jail getting down to that equaliser. Absolutely horrendous. And I'm got to be honest, I want to see the second goal again, but he's 6'3", 6'4", and I really don't think a Rangers goalkeeper with that physique, that height, etc., should be getting beat for that distance. So, yes, he's made a few saves. That's what he's there to do. But once again, following on from last season, he's costing us goals in games, and he's getting away with it because the rest of the team are absolutely horrendous.
I mean, it seemed to be the opposite from a lot of Rangers fans early in the season, David, that they were saying the outfield players weren't doing their job and Jack Butland was actually keeping the scores down.
No, not for me. If you look at the first goal in Austria. He's horrendous at that as well. That sets the tone for the game. The goal at Falkirk. I know it takes a deflection, but it's not in the top corner. It's not in the corner of the goal, etc. It's in the middle of the goal it goes in. He's making saves. Yes, he's making saves, but that's what he's there to do. But he's absolutely suspect. I come on this programme last year before one of the European games, and I said that Jack Butland was one of the biggest problems at Rangers Football Club.
I know, but Rangers problems, David, Rangers problems run far deeper than whether or not Jack Butland's dependable.
When we're falling into that trap today, which we were, and the lack of experience in the dugout obviously couldn't see it. When we're falling in that trap, we're not expecting a goalkeeper of his physique to lose a goal like that. And when we lost that goal, basically you could see the team, they were going into their shells. They didn't want to move off the ball the way they were doing in the first half.
He also made a save that prevented you from going down 3-2.
I'm not denying that, Shane. As I said that to him, that's his job to make saves. But he's already made mistakes in the game where we were 1-0 up. If he puts that round the post, it could be a different game today. It could be a different game. We could have got the substitutions on, whatever. I think Jack Butland, and I'm not totally blaming Jack Butland. I'm just making the point that Jack Butland is making mistakes in games that he's getting away with, that other players are getting absolutely terrorised for.
Well, Kevin Muscat can change the goalkeeper if he wishes, but as I say, the problems run far deeper. The Rangers are in Norway Thursday night, Brandbergen in the Europa League. They've had a humiliating time of it so far in terms of the Europa League, and then looming on the horizon is a game against Celtic, Cup semi-final. These players will have to show greater character, responsibility, call it what you will, over the coming days and weeks, because Russell Martin's successor, Kevin Muscat, won't get here until the last week in November.
Yeah, I mean, it will be certainly food for thought for Kevin Muscat, just overall that performance, watching on. You'd expect that he was sitting there watching on in that game, and it'll probably give him a few thoughts of what he needs to do to this team going forward.
If he didn't know before, he'll certainly know it now that he's got a big job in his hands. I know Hugh, because we keep doing it, I do it myself, we were talking about questioning the character. They need big character. It was like they needed characters today. No man in the dugout. Was Steve Smith, under 19 coach, and quite right, no blame whatsoever attached to him. So the players had to stand up today. Character again. I've never seen that yet. No. I've never seen that yet in this Rangers team, and I'm starting to question, have they got that in their locker? That's a big thing for me. Now, you can sit here and make excuses for them all you want. Yes, they had a great 45 minutes. The Rangers fans thought, right, OK, we're getting something here. Russell Martin's out the building, forget about him. Second half, Dundee United probably could have nipped it, 3-2. All of a sudden, Russell Martin's fault again. You've got to look at what's on the pitch.
Yep.
Right? There's enough so-called good players there, recruitment, they're getting paid big money. They've been brought in, £8 to £10 million strikers that can't even get a starting shift on a Saturday or whenever a game is. They just look a bang average football team.
I keep using the word fragile. Listen, David's got his own opinion there. He was at the game, so he's seen more than us today. I would question if it was the inexperience in the dugout. I really would. I think,
should the experience on the park override that?
Yes, for me, yes. Listen, let's not get carried away. It was a good first half. It wasn't a great first half. It was a good first half. But as I say, and I've played in games, that's the same. When you get to an hour and it's still 1-0, confidence is low. Fragility is a word I keep using. They've won one game in the league out of 8, Rangers. So it creeps in. And then, to use Hugh's words about character and responsibility, they go out the window. And all of a sudden, Dundee United changed the game.
Well, thank you to David. Let's speak to Ross, who's a Rangers fan in Maclean. Ross, what are you making of what you're hearing on the phones tonight?
All right, lads. Just to say again, I'm just blaming Russell Martin. I don't think it's Russell Martin's fault. Russell Martin's well away at the club. We just need to build a stronger team.
You say build a stronger team. Do you think that can be done with the players that are already in the building? Or do you think that if it's Kevin Muscat coming in, that there needs to be, a big overhaul of players? Or do you think he can get a tune out of the team that are there?
Well, I think it needs to shine. Muscat comes in and big changes need to be made.
Well, no changes can be made until January, of course. So, first of all, the period between Kevin Muscat taking the job and actually being here was all about damage limitation. And game 1, there has been damage done, because they've only got 1 point instead of 3. And now it's over to Hearts and to Celtic to see if they can make that really damaging over the next 24 hours.
Would it be a worry that today is essentially one of what could be many auditions for these Rangers players for Kevin Muscat? These players know a new manager is coming in. They know that the new manager will either be watching the game live or will watch the game back.
Yeah.
Is that a concern that in that second half the players couldn't get up for it enough or show enough quality to get 3 points?
Yeah, I touched on it earlier on. Listen, Dalziel, I was questioning Daz in the break about how much influence Russell Martin had in the addition, the people that came in, the players that came in, the 7 that started, let's say. But if I was brought to the club by a manager who'd just been given I'd have won I'd have a look over my shoulder. Who's coming in next? Am I going to be here? You've got it almost all to start again. But at the same time, I use it loosely just now, a title race is still there as well. They have to win these games. And for me, they've failed spectacularly in that last half hour again. It's came to it where the first half has been comfortable, everything's going their way. They weren't really tested. I think Dundee United had one shot at goal in that first half. But once the heat goes up, they seem to fall short.
Yeah, I keep questioning one thing, the recruitment in the summer. And I think the recruitment's not good enough. We're into 8 games now?
Yeah.
1-1. 1-1. We're into a game without Russell Martin where everything was aimed towards him in the dugout. That pressure was lifted today. They got off to a great start, 45 minutes. They get clapped off the pitch with the Rangers supporters, thought everything was rosy. Once again, it's the same problems. I don't think Rangers as a squad, and I think Muscat will come in and look at that. Unfortunately, he won't be able to do anything. But he looks at that squad. There's not a lot there that excites me.
Well, thank you to Ross. What about Scott in Cumbernauld? Scott, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm home now, so I put myself through the ringer, but I'm home now. I've got to take issue with David and Paisley. No offence to him, I agree with his I respect his opinion, but what I would say is Jack Butland has been the only one really that really has had a good season. If you actually compare individual performances and team performances out within Jack Butland, I can't name one Rangers player that's worth the shot. That's the thing.
Scott, was there anyone today? Oh, sorry, on you go, Scott.
My question to the panel is, do you actually believe that these players, regardless of the manager, old manager, new manager, there's not going to be a rabbit pulled out the hat? So I'm wondering if the panel believes that these players actually have the fortitude to turn the season around and challenge Celtic, because in my opinion, that is gone.
It's not just Celtic you have to worry about. Hearts could be 13 points clear of Rangers by 8 o'clock tonight. So they have to be mentioned as well. This, from my perspective, the simple part of your question for me, do they have what it takes? No, they don't.
Totally agree. There's no evidence that would back up if you turn around and says, yeah, I can see them turn it around. Even look at, if you were a Rangers fan and you got something momentum going, you look at the way Celtic are going, they're not firing in all cylinders just now. They're not the greatest. Hearts have got off to a terrific start in the league. But I don't see this Rangers team throwing 5, 6, 7 results in a row.
No.
I just don't see it. There's no evidence to back it. So would I say that they're going to be up their challenge for the league? Absolutely no chance it's going to happen.
If results don't get better and Rangers have this interim period, you wonder whether one of two things could potentially happen. Could Rangers try and step up their efforts to get Kevin Muscat in earlier, or would Kevin Muscat maybe look at things and say, we don't want to get things to get worse before I come in, so maybe I need to get over there quicker? Could you see either of those scenarios happening?
I said that to Daz earlier on. I think you talk about winning games, improving, which goes without saying, but I think the result today maybe, pushes that a little bit, and the pressure is even more, and I think, they'll probably lean towards trying to get somebody in quicker. Whether they can do that,
I don't think he'll go until the Shanghai team have won the title. However, if they win it and there are 2 games to spare, for example, for the sake of conversation, then I think he could say, goodbye, I'm going over to Scotland.
I think they can only win it with 1 game to spare, the way that.
Right, well, even that 1 game, that 1 week would be something, I suppose.
Actually, it would be a lot longer than that, because their penultimate game is on the 31st of October. Their final game actually isn't until the 22nd of November. So there is a big gap in there potentially, but of course things would need to fall into place.
He won't leave before they've won the league title, or before he can be assured whether they are going to win it or finish second. He won't leave before then.
And I think that's where a big problem is. See, if you're a Rangers fan just now, see if you go and win today and you get a couple of wins, you probably put up with that, Hugh, and say, as Roger said today, we're waiting for the right man to come in. We'll maybe have to wait 4 or 5 weeks. Rangers could be well gone by the time this manager steps into Ibrox. So once again, Rangers have got themselves in a position that to me is shamble.
Realistically, if Hearts win this evening and Celtic win tomorrow, is it not already gone?
I think it's gone now. I don't care if Hearts win, because I think that Celtic will win the league, in my opinion, Hugh. And I think they'll beat Dundee tomorrow, which increases that gap again. That's where, if I was a Rangers fan, I'd be sitting there looking at the club just now and thinking, we've made a mess of the first one. I'm looking at all the signings we've brought in. So far, they're not exciting me. We can't get a manager in for another 4 or 5 weeks. It wasn't even our number one choice of manager. That's what you've got to look at as well.
The logistics are the fault of 49ers Enterprises, because they didn't get Steven Gerrard over the line, and there must be a reason for that, and only Gerrard and Andrew Kavanagh know the real reason. But then, with Danny Rowe withdrawing from the race and so on and so forth, the logistics are, I'm afraid, once again back at 49ers doorstep.
Scott, how quickly does there need to be clarity, one way or the other, on Rangers' managerial situation now?
Right, really, really quick. Right, the problems are systemic from the top to the bottom. It's not to do with which manager comes in, which manager leaves, which manager gets fired, interim manager, and so on and so forth. It's nothing to do with that. The structural, basically, the systemic nature of the hierarchy of the club is not working. So it doesn't matter who you get. And just to agree with, I can't remember who said that, but yeah, the league's over. Forget about that. Forget about that.
Well, thank you to Scott. 01419511025. I will run you through the starting lineups from that Kilmarnock Hearts game, which kicks off in 5 minutes' time. For Kilmarnock, Beach in goal, the back three, Stanger, Mayo and Dees, Brown and Thompson, the two wing-backs, with Watson, Polworth and Kilty, the three central midfielders, Dackers and Anderson, the two strikers. For Hearts, Falov in goal, it's then McEntee, Halkett, Finlay and Kingsley across the back line, Mill, Devlin, Beningame and Kizaridis, with Braga partnering Shankland up top. We will take more of your calls after these.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of what has been a busy open line on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Don't worry if you don't get through tonight. We are back 4 until 7 tomorrow to bring you the reaction to Dundee against Celtic and further calls on all of today's games. 0141 951 1025 is the number for tomorrow, and of course the number for right now. Let's go back to the phones. Scott is a Rangers fan up next. Scott, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Hope you're all well. Just before I make a point, I want to give a shout out to Russell Martin, who, wherever he is, hope he's feeling a lot better about himself after finding out the result today. Because when that went 1 each and 2 each, we all know what the fans have been shouting about, because everything was supposedly Russell Martin's fault, so it proves the point it's not. Earlier caller was on about 3 back, after nonsense, still blaming Russell Martin, he's losing in the club. I've heard the panel go on about farewell signings, which I agree with, and I think he's one of the biggest problems. But I still think we're senior players, probably Tavernier was at that holiday, fair enough, but I want to make a point about one particular player, and it's Nico Raskin. He has got away with absolute murder now. He seems to be the blue-eyed boy for the Rangers fans. He came back after being left out, and he's played one game against Hibs. And I'll ask you, when's the last time Nico Raskin, Diamande, all these senior players had a good game? Because it must be last year. And if they have had a bit, could you remind me? Because I don't remember.
I think
the problem is that first half that I watched today, I thought was absolutely brilliant. And then we come out the second half, and I'm like, nah, this is definitely a mentality thing. The mentality of some of the players, and I wish we'd stop blaming the new players that come in, the senior players as well, and that's how I'm singling out Nico Raskin. When has he last played a good game for Rangers? He was at fault for that second goal of the day, that he ball watched and stood and watched that guy take the touch, never shut him down, and shoot on goal. And he doesn't get brought up because nobody wants to say anything bad about Nico Raskin, where all of a sudden, just because he plays for Belgium, seems to be this marvellous player. I don't see it. The Rangers years ago now.
Purely personal point of view, I think he's had his head turned by his performances for Belgium alongside Kevin De Bruyne. Everyone keeps bringing up this guy is the future for the Belgium national side. I think he's had his head turned, and I think he's hoping that it will lead to an offer to get out of Ibrox, and if he could get out in January, I believe he would take the chance.
Surely the way to get out is by performing for your club week in, week out. And if Scott doesn't think he's doing that, then it's maybe not going to help his case.
Yeah, but every time he plays for Belgium, people compare him favourably with Kevin De Bruyne, and people in his native country speak about him as the future leader for the national side. We know from Russell Martin's experience that he found Nico Raskin an awkward character. Maybe the feeling was mutual, but I think he's had his head turned, and I think the first opportunity he gets to get out of Rangers, he'll take it.
I think the fans have sided with Raskin because of the situation with Russell Martin. Let's not be kidded here. But I think Raskin is a good player. I don't think he's a player that probably Raskin thinks he is at this moment in time. I think he's got brilliant potential. He did come back into the team. I totally agree. He was good against Hibs. He doesn't dominate enough games for me, and everybody does jump on the bandwagon. He's a Belgium internationalist, he must be brilliant. He's still a bit to prove, and he's got to step up to the mark. I think Tavernier comes in for a lot of criticism, but he's bailed Rangers out time after time. Today is another perfect example of it. Butland's getting a bit of criticism as well. There's a lot wrong just now for the Rangers supporters at Ibrox. I thought, at the beginning of the season, you would never imagined this would be the situation. No manager, one league win, struggling, everything about them, the recruitment not hitting the ground running. Everything is negative just now about them. I know they had a good 45, but unfortunately the game's played 90 plus, and I don't see it in that Rangers team to do that.
Scott, what are the big things that Kevin Muscat would need to change when he comes in?
Well, that's a hard question, because I was on the phone about 2-3 weeks ago, and in my opinion, what I said at the time is, when we get rid of Russell Martin, because it was just a matter of time, I think the next manager that's coming in is going to get sacked. Kevin Muscat will probably get sacked somewhere up the line. And I think that's such a sad state of where we are.
Where does this cycle end then, Scott, for you? Or how does this cycle end if you feel it is just going to be a case of whatever manager comes in is destined to get sacked quickly?
I really don't know. It's a hard one for me to answer. I think Gordon's right where he says it comes from the very top. But I do think that could you just put me right here? Am I right in saying that Thelwell said in an interview that if Russell Martin gets sacked, he would go as well? Have I picked it up right or wrong?
I certainly haven't heard that personally, no.
If he had said that, it would have received massive headlines in a variety of newspapers, television, radio. So I don't believe that to be the case. But the problem that Kevin Muscat has is that it might be the case that these players, for the most part, are incapable of getting Rangers out of the situation that they are in at the moment, and therefore January will be massive for Rangers.
Thank you to Scott. Stuart is a Dundee United fan in Cumnock. Stuart, you must be happy with that second half especially, and the point.
First of all, I would like to say thanks very much for taking my call, boys, and I'm a first time caller.
Good to hear from you.
The point I would like to put towards the panel is today was a very good point for Dundee United. Always good to get a point against one of the old firm teams, and I would just like to say that I think Rangers right now are a kind of bang average team. Not to dwell on the fact that they're not playing well just now, but I think Craig Sibbald was one of the best Scottish players on the park today.
And very few of them were there.
Yes. But Dundee United was criticised for not playing Scottish players, but what I'd like to say is, when they are playing Scottish players and they're playing well, they're not really getting the recognition.
It was a brilliant goal by Craig Sibbald today, and just as a collective as well for Dundee United, they had to weather a bit of a storm in that first half. Rangers looked good in the opening 45 minutes. Shows a lot of character to not let the heads go down, go in at half time, make those changes and come out and get a result.
Sometimes get lost a little bit because we don't give Dundee United credit they deserve, because they were up against the ropes in the first half and the game could have got away from them. They dug deep, they made a substitution at half time, which we all sort of looked at and questioned. Take off your top goal scorer when you need goals, especially at Ibrox. And it worked for Jim. Absolutely brilliant. It was tactically got it spot on. He'll probably leave and think, okay, the game could have been away from us in the first half. We've got a point. But Butland pulls off a great save near the end of the game, and he could have easily stole the 3 points.
Yeah, I don't think either manager have been in to do their post-match interview yet. I did see Jim Goodwin having said to Sky that he was disappointed Dundee United didn't come away with all 3 points. Stuart, is that how you feel?
Well, nine times out of 10 when you play against Rangers, you're coming away with a defeat. So I think a point is, it's happy to come away with a point.
The difficult day for Dundee United to negotiate, because Rangers had that post-Russell Martin situation going on, and the crowd were uplifted, and the first half performance was good, and Dundee United were subdued. But second half, we're going on about Rangers' fragility, temperament, etc., etc. Dundee United showed a very high level of temperament, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, they showed character, and we touched on it earlier on about how Rangers react at 60. I think teams like Dundee United at the moment, looking at Rangers, they'll sense the game's there. An hour gone, they're still 1-0. All the flow's been Rangers in the first half. They'll sense that, and they've taken advantage of it.
I quickly disagree with Jim's statement there. I know what he's saying, but the game could have been away from Dundee United in the first half. If Rangers had scored a second before half time, they were not coming back for that. But I thought getting a point was brilliant for them. Yeah.
Well, thanks to Stuart. I think we can quickly squeeze in Paul, who is a Celtic fan in Castlemilk. Paul, how are you?
All right, guys, how you doing? Gordon, Liam and Hugh, is that who the panel is?
Simon Donnelly.
Just call him Liam.
I remember his name, I forgot all about it. I'm just having a wee laugh here, having a couple of margaritas and just wondering how can these Rangers fans still be giving Russell Martin the blame? You remember, I think they all must leave Ibrox and then go back to their mental asylum. You remember Warburton done absolutely nothing. They were taking loaves of bread down to Warburton.
Yeah, I think Paul's maybe had a couple too many margaritas.
I mean,
pizza or two. Listen, a couple of pizzas.
This is the city of Glasgow, and therefore Rangers' result today is a source of happiness for Celtic. They have to look after themselves tomorrow. They have an outstanding opportunity to go 11 points clear of Rangers, and the outcome of the league, no one knows for sure, but it's in the hands of Hearts and Celtic to make Rangers' weekend even more uncomfortable than it already is. So before laughing at the Rangers fans, Celtic need to go about their business properly tomorrow.
Yeah, still waiting for Stevie Smith to do his press. Don't think we will get that in before the end of the show, or Jim Goodwin either, but you will be able to hear that from 4 until 7 tomorrow. We'll apologise for that comment made by Paul if anyone was offended by that. Of course, it is Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0, 8 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock on that one. Not too much on the go in the early stages. Kilmarnock trying to cause some problems with set pieces in the opening minutes.
The only thing that strikes me, Andrew, is that we've yet to see the Kilmarnock goalkeeper in the television shots, because Kilmarnock have dominated the play, and why not? Stuart Kettlewell has done a terrific job there, but they are taking the game very much to Hearts, and we have yet to see the Kilmarnock goalkeeper on the telly.
How do you sum up today, and how do you look ahead to tomorrow, Hugh?
Rangers' troubles worsen. The fans expected far more than they got today. Celtic and Hearts can make it an even more troublesome weekend, and now Rangers have to go and play in Norway in a Europa League tie. I know that's not uppermost in the minds of the fans, but it means that they need to avoid any further negative publicity until he gets here.
Yes, it is another busy, drama-filled Saturday on Clyde One Super Scoreboard, and the action is not over for the weekend. Kilmarnock against Hearts is 10 minutes in, goalless, and of course it's Dundee against Celtic tomorrow. I will be back from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock tomorrow, looking back on all the weekend's action, hearing what the managers had to say about it, and more importantly, getting your calls for 3 hours. But for now, thank you very much to Gordon Dalziel, Simon Donnelly and Hugh Keevins, and thank you to you at home for getting involved. And it is, of course, how you want to spend your Saturday night. Up next, it is the GBX.